What's up, everybody? Welcome back, Volamel. Welcome back, everybody. Long time no see, Volamel.
Hello.
I'm super excited. I did a little rearranging, by the way. I don't know if you
see.
noticed.
I love what you've done with the place.
Thank you.
It's gorgeous.
Thank you. Yeah, just messing around a little bit. Whoop, little Go XLR sweep here. Let me make sure I'm routing you my audio. Gonna get you a little bit of music for the time being. But we are here. It's episode 2 already. I'm just putting them in order. We had some fun with the pause and predict format, where we watch the VODs and try to watch the games critically and see how good we are. And if we're bad, we're gonna continue to get stuff wrong. But if we're good,
true,
we're gonna be right.
I'd say.
But then,
hopefully,
yeah. But then it's also like, the whole idea is that you can start bad and get good. So
exactly.
That's we'll
growth mindset. We're not that fixed mindset. That's not us.
Fixed mindset is so.
That's so 2010.
2010. I was trying to think of a year.
Just so dated.
Of what it would be.
Boomer mindsets. Just gotta get in with the zillennials.
The zillennials, like.
I don't know. I heard that the other day and I was like, that's really funny, and I'm gonna steal it.
I think I'm a zillennial. Because I'm a millennial, but I also have a little bit of Gen Z in me,
Oh, okay. A little spicy, dabbling.
Exactly. Exactly. But cool. Might as well. Let's jump into it. I will. It's funny, the music here is on the same channel as as how I listen to this audio. Oh wait, we don't need this audio anymore because we watched this muted.
True.
Alrighty. So I have my I need to add the little module that will allow me to do a prediction. Here we go.
Oh,
yes. Start a prediction. All right, cool. I have that ready to go when we decide to do it. But anyways, as we're getting started, this is going to be TNL Esports versus Apex People. Volma, what should we know about these teams heading into it?
I mean, Apex People are, I believe they're qualifying through the open qualifier coming into Challengers 3. This is a match from Challengers 3, so the last chance qualifier for, Masters. Obviously, the first entry into the Champions Tour and really getting out there and qualifying for these lands. These are some much needed circuit points that these teams are going to want to snag up. And Apex People are coming in from the open qualifier, so they battled through, countless number of teams, whereas TNL actually is a staple of the South Korean VALORANT space, are quite good, but have recently been a little slumpy. They've been dropping maps, which you wouldn't normally expect. So definitely a team that a lot of people, a lot of fans are definitely excited to see, but Apex People really kind of jumping out there. So it's kind of as much as it's still early to kind of set up these narratives, it is still very much like a new, fresh, young team that hasn't necessarily made a name for themselves quite yet, versus TNL Esports, kind of, a little bit more well known in the space and a team that you'd expect to do well.
Sounds good to me. Well, we'll see. Well, I mean, I think and as we mentioned, they're both going to be in Masters, so both of them will be I guess the result of this map is matches maybe more of a primer of what to expect from them, but and less about like if one's getting in over the other, anything like that. Right. So cool. Yeah, let's get started. I want to hear a little bit of what they're talking about.
Yeah, I'm excited about this. So the attacking first here for TNL.
All right. They do have that, so we have the new layout. Maybe I'll talk about some stuffs. So I got the team names up at the top. In the center middle, you're actually going to see a kill feed. That'll be there. So this looks a little janky sometimes, but you will notice it there. And of course the big mini map as well.
Very interesting setup from the Killjoy. To plant the resources all down in like the depths of vents, and for them to immediately just kind of run in there. I wonder if that's maybe not a set play, but something that they kind of prepared for that off of pistol. TNL kind of like plays a little aggressively, takes mid control. Maybe use that to shut down an A push.
Hmm.
Be interesting to kind of keep track of. Maybe going into the half, seeing if TNL plays a little bit aggressively on CT.
All right.
Okay. Interesting. Definitely the read on the vent push was something that kind of stood out. Not something you normally see. Normally you'd see, your Killjoys kind of playing more for the sites, plugging up garage, plugging up A long, maybe even playing for A short, try and control that side of the map as to not, allow like an aggressive rush. If we assume that TNL goes for a force buy here, I'm kind of interested to see what Apex people decides to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hopefully we get a
Where
little.
exactly.
Did they show the buy at all?
Sometimes they just skim over it with a replay. Okay, so we've got some SMGs.
Yeah, I think that's the most we got.
Yeah.
So is that SMGs on
TNL?
Let's say TNL side, right?
Yeah. No response from Apex. Just typical save. I believe that turret's probably on the box looking A short.
I need to so actually the team names in my description on the left side are in the wrong order. So I'm gonna change that up here. That'll actually throw me off as well. So it's Apex people versus TNL Esports here. Yeah, Apex people on the defense. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it. All right, so they're not going for. So they are buying. TNL is buying. Okay, that is what you meant. Okay, I actually didn't see the buy.
I think it was like 3 Spectres.
Yeah. Ooh, just passing through like ships in the
sense.
night. Oh, wow.
Strange time to reload.
I was really thrown off there because I thought TNL had lost, and I thought TNL was on the defense. I was all kind of backwards.
Interesting that the Sage Wall is used for Heaven.
Mm-hmm. So that, yeah, that's out the back side of Heaven here, splitting.
Yeah.
So you
wouldn't
can't
expect normally, and something that you've kind of pointed out, even just talking about some of the more NA games, not something you kind of expect to have during post play. It's something that you want, but what we're seeing in NA is actually being used to assist the entry, maybe even play for a pick towards an orb. Like I think it was Sick who was doing the kind of boosts, these fake out angles.
Right, exactly.
Definitely not a utility or a piece of resource that you expect to still have once you can actually push towards the site and have a considerable numbers advantage. That 2 picks mid, that really opens up, especially if they're leaning B site. You can definitely shove that in and get that down, and that especially with those kind of guns is not just like, oh, let's just kill the wall. Like, no, this Apex people's still running pistols at this point, so it's going to take them forever to get that wall down, and it just considerably funnels them in one direction unless there's something to circumvent, like some sort of deep flank through like T-spawn. It's really big. So interesting. I mean, I don't expect to see that too much more. I can't recall seeing Sage Walls being used too creatively, let's say, on the attacking side of Split here.
Right.
But maybe TNL's got something up their sleeve. Maybe they've got a set player too. Most of the time, again, on defense, obviously it's usually primarily used to kind of control mid, really stop that from just being an open point of rotation. But yeah, interesting to see how Sage is being used on attack. It seems to differ based on the region. It'll be very, very interesting to see how that wall's used.
Right, and the play that you were referring to, if people haven't seen it, Sick, who is on Sentinels, right? Yeah, would be using Sage to get verticality, so use the wall to go up and down. So it's definitely something to watch for. One thing I definitely, I kind of feel like is like started playing the video. I'm just like, I don't even know what to look for. So I'll just pause it for a moment because this is going to be our first gun round, but also maybe just differences in the compositions here. Obviously the Sage is one of the big ones that we see.
Yep.
TNL having the Sage and Apex people not having that. Instead, they have the Killjoy. So other than that, though, it's going to be mirror comps, right? I think just the one swap.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. Everything else is pretty much the same. TNL having a little bit more lurk potential. Having, being able to support having that Sage. Not, I mean, maybe not lurk, more so, peeking for information. Being able to, it feels much more beneficial on the post plant. Again, it will be interesting to see how exactly the Sage is used. If there is some creativity with Barrier Orb, if they are kind of allowing the Rays, maybe even the Jet to play, have the ability to poke up through Garage, maybe take a duel, and then you obviously have the opportunity to heal them once they come out of that duel. They obviously win. So Killjoy, kind of in a similar sense, like it feels much more post plant centric when it comes to C side, but once you get into CT, it obviously kind of shines a lot more. Still kind of a staple, something that Vision Striker seems to kind of really be pressing forward. The double duelist setup, it feels like the more duelists you have, the more you kind of have to be able to play multiple different styles. You can't just take this like super slow and methodical approach. Like, you actually need maybe your Jet or maybe your Rays to be able to kind of flank off and have this lurk potential and have these duels and to be able to consistently win them. Because you just kind of lack the utility to be able to bust open these sites. That's not to say that Breach and Jet can't combo into B site and do your typical flash and dash, but it feels like the more duelists a composition has, the more loose and kind of floaty they need to be able to really have that impact.
I see. Right, and so I think maybe the important part is of course to see macro wise how TNL tends to move and how their Sage positions. Especially since they won't have somebody to sniff out flanks and whatnot.
100%.
Coolio. Alrighty. Let's get into it. First gun round, baby! I need to figure out where in this format too I can fit like rosters. I think I'm just gonna have to learn the names, which is fine. It's actually a good exercise to do. But hopefully we won't have to memorize it, because maybe Masters UI will have what we want.
Ideally.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
Then I'm gonna have to rearrange this still.
So one thing to kind of already jump out and know is that Breach and Jet are definitely a very dynamic duo when it comes to South Korea. Not something that I've seen too terribly much in other regions. Not to say that they don't do it, but that could be very much my ignorance. But it seems to be a power combo that Korea really tends to abuse, and the fact that they're split across the sites is already kind of interesting from Apex people. Maybe not necessarily bought into the hype.
Right, like you'd expect both of these people to be together, the flash and dash.
Both sides as well.
Right. Oh, okay, true. Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it almost seems more like risk mitigation here, right? You have these Jets in a spot where they would need to get out, right? TNL's Jets on the weak side, right? Where they're playing towards B, and having someone that has a flash to be able to get out definitely makes sense. Very methodical TNL.
Even going back to the duelist kind of conversation, like Jet was floating around that A main area quite a length a ways, right? It took a while for her to kind of rotate over.
Right.
Definitely kind of loose.
Ooh. I don't know if you caught that, but the Rays entering site at B got immediately blown up on the entries. Like took the double satchel to here, died. They used the wall again on this spot on the attack. I mean, I think that could be expected. They had a mixed buy there, some AR, some Spectres, but now they're in a weird spot again. So it looks like they're going to force for TNL. I mean,
Yeah. It's interesting. I kind of would expect it. I mean, this is months ago. It feels like it's years at this point, but
Yep.
big garage fight.
Wow. Ooh, that's a lot of utility. But they open up the
Gigantic
map.
line. Yeah.
Well, one thing that we were talking about before is, when you do use utility and getting positioning on the map, utilizing Fog of War, what do you earn with that now? So I think TNL has, they seem to have not really done an execute. It's always been this kind of let's clear and move
Very
as a new
loose.
unit. So loose as in like kind of making a, yeah.
Off the line, it's very, I would imagine, especially, that kind of skirmish where it's like, okay, we're going to make a play for garage. We're going to fight this orb. Like, if they push into us, we have to have, a fault line there, a flash ready. Like, those line of scrimmage plays are definitely there. And I think those are set. But past that, their macro is very kind of loose, spread out across the map. This jet kind of uncontested, pushing through into vents, just walking in for free. It feels like there's going to be a point where she gets contested, and it kind of goes back to that duelist conversation where it's like, if you're going to have these two picks, you have to make them impactful. It can't just be like, yes, either one of them can entry. So if one of them does take a duel and loses, you still have somebody to kind of make that space for you, or at least be able to kind of shove in there. But I think ideally you want them, especially if their rifles are good, you want them to kind of make a play, a push, make some space on their own.
We didn't get to see very much of that.
Yeah, that was kind of just smoked off. But for I don't even know if you want to call that a semi-buy, but for a rough round in terms of the economy, definitely pulled it out.
Yeah, and I know Apex people had done a full buy, so here's oh, interesting. Okay, I thought Zeus, I thought the Killjoy was about to save there, like play more back off the utility and try to get a gun, but they are gonna match.
Judge.
Let's see.
Somebody's got a judge.
We got all right. We support our broadcasters. I'm trying to figure out where we. Go ahead.
It's just interesting to see exactly who and where that judge is being placed. I don't know.
Korean Valorant loves their judge in Bucky's.
That 100% they do. I don't know that they necessarily, well, by they, I mean the CT team, if memory serves me, is Apex people. I don't know that they really have a good read on if Jet is pushing. Obviously, they saw her as she kind of revealed herself in vents, but I don't know if they feel like they need to be able to kind of defend A ramps a little harder. So I'm interested to see where that Jet's being placed, or that judge is being placed. Let's see.
Yeah, okay. All right, judge on Wix. Yep, that makes sense. On the raise.
Vents, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, again, very interested in this garage push. Very much want to win this position. Again, Jet Breach kind of separated from each other, at least off the line.
Right. I feel like it's just way more about matching on A side. But it is interesting that they're both there. I mean, I'm curious to see as we watch more matches, how much of the Jet is just going to be on this weak side for both the teams. So Judge is here. Ray's ulti on the offense though is there. So I think we're probably going to see some spicy mid plays in a little bit after the smokes go down.
Should. It feels hindsight to ask for a Rolling Thunder to clear heaven, but I guess it would come down to kind of preparation. I mean, they seem to be pretty. This kind of takes me back to the pistol on how much TNL might actually want to play for ropes through mid. Like if they're comfortable taking this rotation, maybe that's Apex people's response. Those double molly setups from Killjoy on the defense. I don't know if that's necessarily a call.
We were getting some unlucky observer moments here. Dude, they go very late. Do you see how much time was left on the clock there? They did not have much time to work with.
They're slow, but it's not as controlled as I was kind of hoping.
Wow.
Like, it's very much like hope we get out of ropes and try to get something from that, and it doesn't feel all that. Methodical isn't the right word, but measured, maybe.
Yeah, it's not that they're being lazy too, right? They're actually constantly moving. They're just slow walking the entire time. But Zhonghee, the jet for Apex people, definitely fragged out there. I mean, it was alone on A ramps and then dashed to sight. Got out of the way of that. Actually got hit by the Rolling Thunder, and then got 2 more kills from sight. So,
I mean, they're winning mid control. It feels like every round. They're just not being able to transition that into much of anything. Like this jet.
I think Apex people are just letting them. They're just letting them have mid.
Yeah, they're even going back to pistol. They were very much like not in any way, shape, or form trying to contest. You know, if we go back to those mollies on pistol, literally first round, like they were playing for them to go into ropes. So I wouldn't expect them at this point. By them, I mean Apex people, to try and like peak them and try to muscle them into controlling for mid. Seems like they're kind of wanting to play those circles where they take garage control, they take like A main control, they take like ramps control, something like that. That's where they want to take those line fights. And then if, you know, need be, they can wrap around. All right. Apex people has a choice.
Oh my gosh. Dude, they push in on the Killjoy ulti.
Yeah.
TNL pushes in.
It's either that or you completely give it up, but you're already so committed at that point. I don't. It's high. I think it's completely hindsight to go like, oh, I wish they would have just given it up. I think it's fine to be able to kind of, you know, push in. I think it forces you into that crossroads mentality where it's like, okay, we either go now or we, you know, back up, wait it out, you know, try not to get locked down. And seems antsy. And this kind of reminds me of that ropes push where it's like, seems like we're late in the round. We haven't really got much done. TNL's making a call. They're going, okay, let's, you know, pour through ramps and push in. So now they're actually
eco, by the way. Yeah, this is an eco for TNL. Okay. Knives, and then everyone else had pistols or sheriffs.
Right. That would be an interesting question. Would that be considered necessarily fighting for mid if that's an eco? What do you think? Do you think if that op was, if you're in TNL shoes and you get op there, are you concerned about that? Or is that just, okay, maybe they knew we were, you know, we were saving, don't necessarily have to worry about it? Or is that something you kind of hold into your back pocket and say like, okay, well, they've shown the op here once before, we kind of have to now cover it. We have to invest some sort of resources into, or at least acknowledge that this could be happening in future rounds, even though that this was just an eco round. Is that something you would kind of warn against? Like, hey, that op showed mid, even though we only had sheriffs, we still have to kind of cover for it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think about like when you're saying, so when an op is shown, what's the decision tree? Like what is the decision that comes off of that?
Not necessarily what the decision is, but do you take this into later rounds, even though with the context that this was an eco? Is that something you put a ton of stock into?
I got you.
That she's shown, we've seen that position from them now within this match. As we progress into these rounds, does TNL kind of worry about that, even though that this was an eco push? Undecided personally.
Is this our first audible? Where do we think the op's gonna go?
I mean, maybe. I think if anything, I'd like to see that op continue to move. You know, as we've kind of talked about in the last episode, like the sticking and moving, consistently kind of changing up where you're pushing. Not super confident, or not confident, but comfortable with how, I guess I'll be qualitative today, how good this Jet necessarily is with the op, so it's tough to say like, oh, are they going to be like a Buzz type character or something very similar to a Wardell style of opping where you're jump peeking, B main and or trying to push for this garage,
Right.
line play. Are you going to be pushing, A ramps, taking these really short angles? I don't know if that's necessarily going to come out, but I wouldn't expect them to peak mid immediately after the save round.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think
see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I would totally say that it makes a lot of sense to just hold that angle mid with the operator on an eco. And I mean now the mind games begin, right? Did the op stay there? But we obviously don't have a lot of intel, but I would wager on that op moves to one of the sites after that. Probably like A on screens or something like that. Let's see here. So it seems cliche that they lack map pressure, but they've been fairly straightforward in how they've been attacking the sites. It telegraphs what's coming, even though they're clearing things. The way they're clearing things is well executed. Yeah, I feel like TNL have done the same thing over and over again, like very, very similar. So I'm waiting to see the adjustment. I mean, they're not in a bad position. But it does feel like they're losing way more. Like I'm looking up the score. I'm like, whoa.
It doesn't feel like a 4-3 round.
It does not. Yeah, it feels like TNL's way behind. But they got some early wins, of course. And they had a great execute on. I mean, they got the plant here. I think this is successful for TNL for sure.
Yeah,
on this round,
it's a decent save round for sure. For sure. So we're coming into round
operator
8.
to screens. I'm promising to watch the VOD. Oh, never mind. I would have lost my bet.
So we're gonna shove in for this blind push.
Full
I guess there's a
ulties
fault line
on defense, by the way.
Yeah, except lockdown.
Oh, true.
4 or 5.
All right, this is gonna be the first aggro push from Apex people now. Oh, there it is, the jump peak.
Yeah. It just might be something they're comfortable with if they're gonna actually buy the op. Playing aggressively with it. If having it mid feels like it's built for that, or maybe even built for having that long sight line in A, being able to play for that feels very strong there as well.
For sure.
It's not something you totally expect, peeking into garage, right? Like it's unexpected. You have the breach air to set up that. But again, TNL has this presence in B garage and does not too terribly much with it. It's difficult to be able to do something with it, but I don't see the intention. They're taking that space. They are trying to fight for it, right? They're not necessarily taking the space.
Yep.
But they're actively fighting for it. And when they do win it, they do nothing with it. And when they lose, it's obviously a loss.
It's starting to. I mean,
you want.
I think oh boy. All right, they're very fortunate there in the attack for that to be a trade.
And it doesn't feel like a feint either. It doesn't feel like, oh, we're drawing attention. It genuinely feels like they want to win, the hand fight at garage, and they have, in some of these past rounds, and they really don't do anything with it. Same thing with mid, where it's like you have this setup control. It's very direct pushing. I kind of wish there was a little bit more presence elsewhere on the map. I'd like to see this Jet be a little bit more aggressive. Maybe even put the raise there. I think that's fine.
Is rough. Yeah, I mean, it just feels there's not that synergy that we see of some of the other teams of knowing exactly what to do, what others are going to do. I love that they're mixing up this. I was going to say the positioning on the operator. I mean, they get a trade there, but I think that's definitely favorable to the Apex people here on the defense.
Very much so. Again, I wouldn't put too much stock into this push just because it's an eco round. But again, they have full control over garage right now. Their Omen has scanned it. It's clear. What are we doing?
Yep. I just take this and save. I'll be curious. I'm curious to see. I mean, they got some guns in their hands. Looks like they're going to try to make something happen. It's not
Definitely
out of
winnable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially if they get past here. I mean, I know the breach is watching them around the back, but see, these teams are very much comfortable in. Oh no, he wasn't looking that way. I was going to say these teams are very comfortable in moving around smokes. And even though they're there, right? It's just like the map is a little bit different now. They are not hesitating. There's a right click. Ooh, another right click. Look at that.
I kind of once they win that elbow duel, going into the connector side of
Around the back here?
CT there, around that backside. Once they win that duel, I kind of wish they would split. If I'm gonna be completely honest, I was hoping that was going to be a great example of like creating fog of war, where you win that duel, and you're threatening that position, but it doesn't mean you necessarily have to push it. Obviously, they took the push. It is what it is. That's what happened. But hypothetically, let's say they didn't. Let's say they backed up, tried to push back through heaven. You still, unless both players for TNL actively show on the map, you have to assume, or at least take into consideration, the possibility that somebody's wrapping around that elbow side. I think that would have been a good way to kind of force this Jet with this op, obviously pop knives, but forcing her to kind of really take attention elsewhere, just from, off of the direct push back. And, you win the elbows fight, you move in, both of you are on site, you win the plant. Great. I think having the opportunity to make uncertainty elsewhere, to draw the attention to a possibility that there could be somebody here, I think that would have helped. I don't think that wins them the round by any means, but I think it certainly helps. Again, not a terrible save round for TNL.
Yeah,
definitely. There's a reason why this team's good and is in Masters. They're doing well enough. Just a little. I wish there was a little bit more tactics.
Yeah,
it still feels on the fly, very mid-roundy.
Exactly. I'm just pausing here on the. All right, let's do our first prediction here.
Okay.
Do we want to keep it simple?
I think you could forecast what this play's about to be. What does this play look like from TNL to you? Given
this information, we're about to see TNL's first execute. First, of course, we've seen, like you said, I think I totally agree with what you're saying. Them do some kind of play off the beginning of it, but not all the way getting into sight. So at this point at 6-3, losing the way they have been, I expect them to run into sight. So if we're looking at positioning here, we got Jet probably heading towards ramps. They probably smoke and run. I actually don't have confidence in TNL on this. I actually don't. I think they're gonna smoke off this cross, so that they don't have, or smoke off ramps rather, and then try to execute on the site. But at that point already, I think there's going to be at least trades here on A main, and then op will rotate to heaven. By that point, all I can draw, by the way, are circles. I have to figure out how to draw other things because I'm left-handed. That's my prediction for what'll happen. So I don't know if you want to. You feel different.
I think we probably would both agree that this is going to be a very fast round from TNL. This feels very much like a rush, flash and dash, bombs on Jet. Like they're going deep and they're going quick. This is the tempo of this round. Just from their kind of body language, feels very fast. Something we've also seen just historically, a split, like making these fast calls through A can be very potent. The only thing I'm unsure on is those smokes that you're talking about towards, this A ramp side to try and deal with this Jet. It seems like a typical spot that people would want to hold, that you want to kind of deal with immediately, so they aren't swinging and peeking you as you're making your kind of blitz in. However, I am interested to see if they send people through that direction, and if they actually get an op shot that doesn't necessarily hit, but gives them the information that there is an op there, and see if anybody pushes through that smoke into dealing with that Jet. If TNL can do that, taking this Jet with the op off the board while pushing into the site, I think this is kind of a foregone conclusion, if I'm to be completely honest. I think if they can execute that without bleeding too much on the push into the site, again, I'm going to guess that either Raze or Jet dies, whoever decides to play entry here, because I haven't gotten a good vibe on exactly who's playing entry for this team just yet.
Yeah.
If they can stem the bleeding as much as possible on the entry in, while also making this push in, and hopefully, again, this kind of is all predicated on the fact that this Jet actually shoots like a blind op shot. We'll see. Maybe they just have somebody push through ramps to begin with, but if they can remove the Jet with the op off the board, if they can get Jung-hee off the map, I think they can get this done, and I think they can do it very quickly.
All right. You know what? Actually, I changed my mind.
Okay.
I think Jung-hee will not get a kill this round. I think they will die before using the op. So, and plus, I really want to just test out this prediction thing. All right. So does Jung-hee get a kill this round? As in, the operator, the Jets on the defense here. So yes, they will get the kill. No, they die first. Well,
it would be really obnoxious, and I don't want to be right about this, but I hope, I really do pray and don't want to believe that TNL is about to posture like this off of the start. Try to make a play for this A main, push into ramp, something to that degree. Stop like dead in their tracks, like deer in headlights, and then completely rotate to B. Because that's what it feels like they've been doing B site, and that's what it feels like they've been doing mid. So I really hope that this is, again, just like nothing has really been consistent for us. Let's just make a rush happen. Let's try and get on the board. Let's try to break this, not break the serve, but set the tempo of the match in our favor.
There we go. All right, Joe, you got to get your prediction in.
Oh, let me predict.
18 seconds.
Started.
Blue is yes, they get the kill. Red is no, they die first. Lol.
Do I click it?
Yeah, you can click it and then you can...
I'm a boomer. I don't know how this works.
Oh, it's okay. Do you see the thing at the top? Click on predict, and then there's like little, you can say 10 on either side, one side or the other. All right. Looks like our submissions have closed.
Missed. Oh well.
That's okay.
Excellent.
Well, I'm already betting against one person. So
you think okay, that's good. So
I think TNL will do what they need to do to take out the Jet on the operator.
Okay. I think I would have agreed.
All right, let's say it.
Please just be a rush.
It better be.
Please.
I really want to see what the smokes are going to be. Dude, they're so ready for this A push, by the way.
Yeah.
All right. Fault line. Stop in the beginning. Oh, okay. I lose.
No smoke. Where's the smoke?
Okay. I should have known.
I mean, it's tragic that the breach had the read that they were gonna, push A.
Yeah.
And got the fault line there, but can we back it up and see where this Omen was for TNL?
Yeah. All right,
not where he was, but like what is he doing off the line? So we have 5 seconds left.
Yep.
I want to see a smoke right in Jet's face here.
Mm-hmm. That's all the way to screens. I mean, I think that's... See, that...
So they
smoke screens first.
Yeah.
Yeah. Screens, then heaven. But the team peaks immediately. So I don't see if they use other utility off of that. Like off the beginning. Here, we'll just... Last time here. So breach fault line all the way through. They get kind of tagged by it. Yeah. Jet gets walks.
Tagged. Yeah.
It's a good trade, at least on site.
Very half-hearted.
Yeah.
Like, they've been matching you B garage off the line. It feels like every round. I think you can expect that they're going to have a presence somewhere on the map. And I think you can invest a flash, something to protect this Jet if she's the only one that's actually going to be playing entry. if they want to make that like an aggressive play onto that site, I think that I'd love to see them all just start to push in.
Mm-hmm.
Why is the jet pushing out there? As unintuitive as this sounds, I want 5 people to be fault line there. I want all of TNL to be fault lined. Everybody commits to it. Everybody's pushing up together. Okay, maybe the Omen sits back and is setting up the smokes. Fine, but not what I'd expect from a team that has been around so long in Korea and has been doing as well as they have. Not impressed thus far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I lose my channel points. By the way,
Unlucky.
it's all good. All right.
Just become a boomer and not know how to operate.
You're welcome, you. Yeah, I mean, they win the round though. By the way, TNL wins the round.
Fine. But I think they probably deserve to lose it. Yeah, personally, but I think there is power in those direct, very quick pushes, especially on a map as big as Split, where you kind of have there's so much of a demand for resources and so many different positions, whether it's fighting for mid or posturing for garage or maybe even making that C push, that you can flub an entry like that and still try and get it done. They go back to their what seemingly is their default start on T side, really having a big presence in garage.
Mm-hmm.
What does TNL's jet kind of find, if anything?
Like, I wonder how much of this is just them wanting to deny free orbs, right? Feeling that that's such a huge resource because they have orb control on both sides at least.
Yeah, 100%.
But I mean, that's the only thing I can really think of right now.
So they kind of show a presence in garage that threatens. I appreciate that. I think that's great. Jet's rotating back through. I kind of would love to see what happens if she pushes all the way through. Make a play. Take the lurk.
Yeah, you mean Jet on TNL? Because she got all the way up to heaven and then came back.
She's pushing in there pretty deep. It doesn't seem like she's seeing much of anything. I don't know if she maybe got flashed or is seeing something from Breach that, gives her information.
Mm-hmm.
But it feels like Apex people kind of has the read on this mid to ropes push, because even there the body language is like, let's lean towards this ropes rotation into A heaven. They decided against it, but you immediately look at Killjoy from Apex and where those resources end up at Spiels. Can respect the Rolling Thunder. I think it's fine. Jet on site, no support. Gets it done though.
Holy moly. Honestly, it feels like TNL just has. They are just spending. They spend like 45 seconds scouting and trying to get information, and then they make a play. There's like an on button, and they're just like execute, run program, everyone do things. Happen to work out there, but it doesn't feel like they're in control.
No, they should be in control. They have so much of the map kind of marked in their territory, if you kind of want to call it that. They have this big presence in garage. They have mid control. That should be enough for you to kind of make a play off of this. I think that's 2 people. Yeah, go in there, support her, go get her.
What is this?
Make this play. Trying to maybe
watching for this push through, right? Yeah.
Go Jet, go. TNL's Jet, push. Get in there. Gets alarmed. Okay, so they know somebody's heaven.
Yep. This is the first time that they're creating pressure on opposite sides of the map, by the way, and barely even opposite, but at least 2 different lanes.
Yep. Big control again. Great.
It's like they're waiting for them to do something wrong. Like Apex people are. It almost feels like the way they're playing is a complete counter to how TNL wants to play. Where Apex people are totally fine with not having presence on certain parts of the map because it's just part of their calculation now.
Yep. Very much on site, very much like key positions. They want to try and it seems like as we get deeper into this CT half for Apex people, they're not necessarily investing so much into this garage pressure.
Yeah.
But they're very much playing for sight. They
Mhm.
don't really mind that they'll take a retake. That's fine. I don't want to.
No, sir.
Spider-Man meme. Unlucky.
Did they really? Did that really happen? Okay, here we
Double
go.
whiff on the right click.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that. Two jets like just startling each other out of missing right clicks. All right, unlucky swaps, make it disorienting. Oh, that is
Just try and get out. It's bold. I think what you can do there is you can TP out, cancel it, and avoid the lockdown. Does that make sense?
Oh,
Because I think it puts your character model
I actually wonder.
or outside of the lockdown range, and then once you cancel it, once the lockdown has been cast, I think you can recall or cancel the TP and dodge it.
Yeah,
cheeky. It's the half, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah.
So it's 4-8. I think that it could have been a lot worse. That could have been a 10-2 very easily.
Yeah, agreed. The more that I'm looking at Korea, and it's not every team, but it feels very much that the region in general excels at CT. There are a few teams who I would applaud their attacks.
It was interesting. Some of the first teams we watched were like I loved how they attacked. And I'm trying to remember. There's one of the teams that played against Vision Strikers that one time where they were kind of like going blow for blow. That might have been
ZF?
No, not ZF. Who's the other number 2 team? Or who would you call the number 2 team right now? I'm trying to remember. They're
tough. Especially with
top
a team
3.
like Apex people. Like New Turn.
New Turn, yeah. I think we were watching New Turn. Anyways. Yeah, I wasn't inspired by TNL there on the attack, but at the same time, I mean, Apex people didn't give much information to work with. It's just like their game plan was to try to get information and try to, like, throw it into the algorithm, hit execute. Everyone has their order of what they got to do and go do it.
I mean, to that point, though, as we kind of get into this pistol round, I do kind of look at the IGL for TNL Esports and go, okay, we've done the same kind of play on these buy rounds for 5 or 6, repeated times at this point. We've had one successful kind of blitz push. I'd love to see more of that going into those later halves on T side than, again, playing for this what feels like dominant map control, but then not really getting much done with it.
Right.
Shallow wall. Oh, not shallow. I'm sorry. Flipped around.
Yeah, so here's maybe what you would expect when you have the Killjoy is you have on your weak side. I mean, is this, can we call this weak side? Can we call this side where you have less people?
I think I've always kind of used that denotation when it comes to like strong or weak sides more for like judging the CT, judging the defenders more so than the attackers.
That makes sense.
Suppose.
That would make sense.
But yeah, I mean, if you flipped it, it would definitely be considered that. Also, something to note that Killjoy still has to be within range of her turret.
Yeah, she would just recall the bot.
Active.
Yeah.
It's either recalled or it's just offline. And if it's offline, then it might just be removed from the map.
Here we go. Execute.
Apex people field together.
Yep. Ooh, that's great positioning there. A Rizzy.
Formerly of Dom1 Kia. Been a good player, good support.
Wow.
Okay.
That was very close to being. That was definitely a just hide. Obviously, I mean they were right there, so
yeah.
So one thing, and I don't know if you would agree with this. Watching the difference between the attacks, it actually revealed another thing to me about how Apex played their defense. Is I felt like they were leaving like through mid and the places where you normally anticipate first contact. That's where Apex were not. They were just behind that. But they were
Okay.
just behind where you expect first contact, but not all the way in the back of sight. So I think if we were to look back and just where Apex was defending, they were mixing up their positioning. Whereas like TNL, that felt a lot more of like where I would expect people to be. Back sight, around the back of the pillar, as opposed to being in places like Hell or in heaven and on the stairs going down. Right? These other places where teams might not always play. But that is something I'm going to take note of now, is like when they have site defense, where are they going to be standing?
I love Breach being able to cover this jet here for TNL.
Yeah, dash
that's
out, follow
great.
up with a fault line if needed.
Yep. So they have a good sense that there's quite a few people here. Rotations are now coming in because of that.
Yep.
Jet gives up the space.
Oh, completely flashed out there, but still actually able to get the kills.
Yep.
That is what we were missing from TNL. Actually, that's another thing too. I mean, you had jet rays and they were not using their mobility to get into sight.
Yep. Again, if we had a very not a incredibly similar play, but the positioning of TNL on their T side very similar to what Apex people just showed us. And I think the execution of both were completely different. You have Jet kind of walking out alone without a lot of cover. Nobody's really there to help her other than the Omen kind of sending the smokes off and setting up those smokes. It kind of does feel a little night and day. And it's kind of frankly surprising for a team that played through the open qualifier versus a team that, was at first strike, played well. I mean, second at first strike, TNL Esports, losing 0-3 versus Vision Strikers. Again, like not a team that I'd necessarily, call them for, beating. I wouldn't predict them. That's kind of the assumed result, but that's not something, this is not a game I'd expect from, an arguably top 3 team in Korea right now.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a little concerning going into Masters, I'd say.
A little concerning for them, but not concerning for us because we just got raided by Rich Rad.
Oh, the Rich Rad. I haven't seen Rich in forever.
Rich, thanks so much for the raid.
Thanks.
What up, everybody?
Thanks, Rich.
We're doing some low key, just some very close to ASMR Valorant analysis. What up, Fives? What up, everybody?
Hello.
But yeah, Rich, thanks so much for hosting. Here's we'll do a quick run through of what's going on here. So what we're doing is watching Valorant VODs, as you can see. So these are from Korean challengers, and kind of we're killing two birds with one stone. One is that if you haven't already seen, Volamel does a lot of great writing for Valorant. So just follow him on Twitter. You'll see his articles. But the other thing is that a lot of the feedback I end up giving to casters is to work on your game knowledge. And this is a format that this pause and predict ideas, pausing the beginning of a round, anticipating what's going to happen, is a great way to test what your game sense is. Of course, there's a little bit of RNG because you can't control what the players are going to do, but it challenges you to think critically about what you have as information, and then what you can anticipate happening here. So, I'm gonna say, we're gonna do a pause and predict on the next, because I believe can we
get a little bit more to buy?
Yeah, no, not. I mean, I agree. As in, I'm not doing it right now.
Right.
I mean,
I think this round would be a good round to pause and predict.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah. Let's get like right before the line opens, and let's see what we've got.
Oh, okay. Because this would be first.
I think
this would be first buy, right?
Yeah. First buy for Apex's T.
Right, because it was 8-4 and they just won 2.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, all right. We'll go back a little bit. Hopefully no ads.
Buys.
Okay. Do we have any swaps? I don't think there were. I think this is where we're at. All right.
Yeah.
Apex on the offense has full Spectres. Whereas TNL. All right.
What do you want to pause and predict? I've got a few calls
ideas
to make.
I'll just say stuff that I see on the map. We have Jet v Jet. Oh, Jet Breach versus Jet Breach on A.
True.
Yeah.
Wins
and some expected paranoias on B in B garage.
Agreed. I think this Killjoy turret's going right in the mid, right on top of that box, looking into deep into mid there.
This one here,
ahead,
looking this direction.
I think the big question here is, do the you know, the Breach Jet duos kind of meet each other and exactly what happens. I'd love to see
Yeah.
Apex kind of flash and dash into ramps here and take and utilize these Spectres as best as they can.
Yeah.
Kind of catch people out, you know, maybe not catch them off guard, but you know, bust open a site, make a play. Like to see that. I'm interested to see exactly what happens with this garage. But
Yep. People that know what we're talking about. We're talking about right there.
I think the Jet Breach might be a fun one to predict. What do you, any thoughts? You
Yeah,
think they're going that way?
I think we should do that. Now, the one thing, now looking at this lineup,
Okay.
This really looks like defaults here. I would love to see Apex try to do, make a lot of noise at A. So I think maybe I would like to try to predict that, like what in what nature are they going to try to do here? I mean, even just the matchup here, like who comes out up top, could be something that we go for. But I mean, I really, yeah. What do you think?
I think you know which duo wins out.
All right.
Either Jung Hee and Park Jung, or TS and Godlike, who reigns supreme as the Jet Breach duo on round 15.
Yeah.
I think there's some keys to victory to watch out for Apex. Again, I think they really have to bust open and I think with the guns that they've bought, I think they have to go ramps. I don't think you can just take sight with the, you know, with these SMGs. I don't think you really want to buy into a possible, like, you know, dark side, you know, back of A, you know, somebody sitting there. I don't think you necessarily want to take that duel if it, you know, were to happen. Obviously, seeing the map, it's not going to, but I don't think you want to opt into that. I think they're better built currently with their current buy is better to push into ramp. So I do expect these two duos to kind of clash.
Fair. Yeah, I think the initial instinct is that since Killjoy's in mid, that they're going to do defaults, but I mean, I think they might just have it planned out, right? Breach support of Jet dash into ramps. If you get a kill, bring up bomb with Killjoy, right? So yeah, I think it's totally fair that we expect a result here. Yeah, let's do it. Which duo comes out on top? And I think if they trade, like, do you want to see first blood? Which duo gets first blood?
Sure.
Or do you want to say, let's say who comes out on top, and then if they end up like trading 1-for-1 there, we can just say like whoever wins the round.
Sure.
All right, let's do it. Start prediction
as well.
Yep.
Apex people, their Jet Junkie does have blades, does have assault. Be interesting to see him, you know, quick dash in, quick right click, play from there. Again, love the call from Mushu here to take Killjoy, rotate the bomb in. Sadly, don't have an Omen alt. I would have loved to seen Omen TP cross map once they have that kind of control, or that space control. But be interesting.
Right. Get your boomer mouse ready.
All right,
we're starting the prediction. We got 1 minute. 1 minute on the clock. 1 minute on the clock. Go. Oh. Go.
There it goes.
Alrighty. Now you have to predict who is going to win. So I click on the banner at the top that says which channel points make with the correct prediction. Who do you think is going to win out here? TNL versus Apex. I'm going to vote for Apex.
Oh, see, streamers and mods can't cast a prediction.
Oh no, I need to.
So I will vote for TNL. I think TNL will be the dominant Jet duo here.
All right.
Jet Breach duo.
I'm going to unmod you for next time so you can.
Sick. Unmod me. No sword. No
Just
power.
in general.
Don't want it.
I'm throwing 100 channel points into this.
Oh.
All right, here we go.
Which way did you bet?
Apex peoples. Okay. I think this will be a successful push here.
They can't push up. I think if they push up, they might get flashed and smoked, and they might get run on. If they play back and play a little passive, maybe play for the site, I think they've got it.
All right.
Gonna be tough.
Ooh.
This is spicy.
This is gonna be good. Let's see. Is it closed now? I think it's closed. All right, it's closed. Maybe 1 minute is kind of fast. Okay, let's see. A little game audio
To
here.
everybody right now watching.
There's the dash. Oh, dude, he wants blood. No!
Actually win this round.
Wait. It's not over yet.
It's not, but I think the bet.
I think that's
Deserves to
the
go one
bet.
way.
I think it's the bet already. Yep, that's it. That's already it. All right, I'll do it at the end. Literally throwing my channel points. But I think we called what was going to happen though, right? Dash in, wanted blood, spray it down through the smoke, get a kill. If it works, bring the bomb up through A. If not, we'll chill.
Yep. I think Apex had the right idea with their breach, trying to hold A long. You don't want an immediate rotation through that to wrap around you if you both commit to pushing it aggressively to ramps there, but it ended up not necessarily paying off, which is unfortunate. I think it was all the right idea, just unfortunate occurrence.
Heroics.
But it's possible.
Ooh, interesting pre-fire. All right. So there we go. Okay, so defense won that, right? Yeah, TNL won. TNL defense complete prediction.
Yeah.
Yep. There we go. Have fun with my channel points.
Are there any rewards that people can cash in?
I gotta edit that. I do want to. I want to put in some stuff.
Okay.
Like I think I'll probably have like I'll give VOD review within 24 hours or something in there. We'll see.
There you go. All right, Apex. What comes from this?
They have the Jets again on matching on A side because they have lockdown. Apex people have lockdown on attack. So I wonder if they pop it here in garage.
Could. Definitely would take up a considerable amount of the site. Big set of pings.
Oh,
So
this lurk won't
TNL
get
is-
sniffed out. I expect
No,
lockdown
they're
right
very
here.
much committing this lockdown.
Here we go. I love this
Again,
here.
you have
Great
two
utility
choices.
in the back. Yeah.
Agreed. That does sniff. You have to either push or you give it up.
Oh,
Big
my
skirmish.
lard.
Yep. That's
It's
That's
just
what you
it's
walked
just a
into.
duel. It's a slap in the face with a duelist glove, right?
Yeah.
I challenge you to a duel.
you throw the gauntlet down and say you either come deal with this
Mm-hmm.
or I'm gonna take the site, and you have to play off of that.
Yeah.
They chose one way and they guessed wrong. Now they're gonna try for another quick A push.
Yeah.
here.
This is a bit of an eco. They did light buy. Actually, I didn't see if that was a force or not though. The judge,
Very
dude.
quick. Backside judge. Is,
Oh my gosh.
kind of expect that if that judge is going to be played to be a little bit more farther up. Well, it's one way to get back in the round.
Yep. Let's see the eco here though. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So that was
Should
like
get
a
by.
light buy. Oh wait, no. Apex was a light buy, right? Was that one we were looking
Apex had a semi. They had a budget for sure.
at? Yeah. I don't know, what do
buckies
you
here and
call
there, I
that?
think.
What do you call that? Mid buy?
Light buy, something like
Light
that.
buy? Because eco, light buy, full buy. Where light buy is kind of like shotties and specters and.
It wasn't enough to kind of warrant a forced like denotation. Didn't feel like they were going to punish themselves by buying what they bought and rolling in the next round.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Intel. What do you get? What do you see? Alarm
Well-
watching the cross.
Well, Apex is surely
Smoked
not
off garage.
surely not going A. Look at how passively they're
Yes.
playing here.
Going mid, expect the wall, shoot the wall. Great. Again, I think that alone, breaking the wall, kind of sets up its own fog of war. Just like if somebody shuts the door on you and you open it, somebody could walk through that door, right? Like it's always important, even though you have no intention. Let's say, you know, Apex people didn't have any intention in the world of actually pushing through mid here. I think it's important to open that up.
Yeah, because the downside is way worse. It's insurance against the downside.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes sense.
100%.
Dude, the bomb is still here, by the way.
Yeah, they're kind of waffling all over the place.
I think you're right about just the differences between attack versus defense. These with the teams.
Big
Like
circle.
Apex looks so different.
Circle. Loved that rap. They heard them stomping around through A main there, and they rap through fucking the ramps. It's good.
All right, big res though. 3v5 now.
I mean, it's doable, but it's not,
it's gonna be hard.
Not easy. Yeah,
he needs to really get a pick here. It's all in the omen here, honestly, and the time's on the clock. There's a great double swing. Yeah, taking out.
Yeah,
and it's a good rotation.
Nobody splits really.
0.7 seconds though, by the way.
Yeah. It still was like a 3-2, like weird kind of QB sneak style push where you show so much of a presence on A site, and then the bomb gets planted B. It's like, okay, cool. Like, I guess it can be a 5v2 if that's something you really feel interested in opting into. It doesn't feel, neither side's attacking rounds really have impressed me. But outside of that, VCT feels kind of, it's playing how you'd expect. Sage's wall, I guess for the T side, the only interesting kind of utility that brought was shutting down any kind of push into heaven. So they felt very confident being up there once that door was shut. But outside of that, on T side or CT side, shutting down mid has been basically the only use for it, and I think that's just, I wouldn't say that's probably the primary reason why you take a Sage here or split.
Right.
Denies so much, slows down so much of that push, really kind of helps you buy time as best you can.
Yeah, you're just locking down. You're choking them out of options. So, and split already, right, feels very oppressive anyways in terms of the choices that you can make. By the way, half buy is what CS uses, says you.
Okay.
Makes sense. So it's actually, it's a little bit hard to keep track of like who is really benefiting over time on these orbs. Like that might be an interesting stat to see in the future of how many orbs did each team get. But I mean, there is a lot of priority over that. I mean, you even see the fight still happening here in Garage.
Yeah.
There's going to be at least one more frag on B side. Now he backs out. Yeah, this looks like a save here from Apex people anyways.
Yep.
Or an eco. Use the terminology correctly.
Korea is very surprising in how
they love to play McCree.
They do love to play McCree. That is 100% factual. It's actually just surprising at how well their first bullet accuracy is. Like the chances of a round being thrifty for the obviously the eco side.
Yeah.
Pretty high. Like these sheriff plays are quite, you have to respect them. It's not something that you can just kind of play an anti-eco and just blitz them down. Like they will kill you.
Yep.
You have to respect them.
Yeah.
TNL clawing their
Absolutely.
way back.
Yeah, that was a mistake by Apex's their Omen player. They and this is a rough part of playing Omen, by the way. Do you see that little sliver of the smoke off of the back of heaven? So he goes to smoke there.
And
yeah, there's no
open.
omens, right? This is a great catch by the observers. A little sliver.
Can't have that.
Yeah. But again, still a Nico.
Again, nobody's looking that direction, you know,
right?
because they
When it's
assumed
smoked
it's
off.
shut.
Yeah, or you just you run by it, you kind of peer, but you're right. Like they actually were not looking at that direction when
They were like, "It's smoked. The door is closed. We don't have to worry about it. Go." And fortunately, there was a little bit of an error. Yes,
Yeah.
hop down.
I'm excited for this to see this team on the next map. I'm kind of I feel like I've seen what I need to see on Split. Not that we're going to skip through, but
Split across the board. The maps that I have seen on Split doesn't feel like a super popular map, but
yeah,
it feels closer than it always needs to be.
Yeah.
If your name doesn't rhyme with Vision Vipers. I guess it doesn't rhyme, but you get it. Big push in. Jet has no support. Please God, somebody help her.
Yep. Someone plant, please.
It's the
What was
bomb.
that?
Cute.
Yeah.
Oh, I have bomb.
But Apex has shown the ability to do that, whereas TNL we did not see one execute like anything like that, and we've seen maybe 3 so far. for
I think if
Apex.
anything, oh yeah, 100%. Like there's at least I feels like a 2-on-1 like rush success rate.
Ooh, fancy. Still though, 4K. We like that.
A big 4K. It's I want to see TNL start to play off the line a little bit better. I think at this point I think it'd be a safe assumption that the possibility that Apex people is going to kind of blitz you and play very, very aggressively and very quickly, have that quick tempo.
Yeah.
It's very real possibility and is a threat they need to kind of take into consideration. So I kind of hope that these last few rounds, they're investing the proper resources. I want to see fault lines on, spawn barriers. I still don't really have a good way to call that.
I
wish
like
there
the
was a
line of
better-
scrimmage. Otherwise,
Okay.
our gates
Yeah, guess it'd be
out of the
Fine.
gate.
pretty good one. I'd like to see like an investment. I want to see this breach from TNL. Right, perfect position. I think that the fault line's going directly into that and trying to pressure off a potential A side push.
Wow, look how fast they're rotating here.
They're
I think
definitely setting up for a rotation, but they're like not. They haven't gotten enough of a read to be able to make that commitment. So now they're going. I wonder what they saw.
yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I get the raise getting out of there because the breach is still there. It was like the raise is just there for the support initially. Oh, unlucky. Dude, they certainly observe like Apex.
Yeah, this was all over the place. I really like that. I don't know if you want to back it up. I don't know exactly
Yeah,
how
let's do it.
comfortable you are with trying to dodge those ads, but
No, that's fine.
looking kind of starting right at the Rolling Thunder. I think within the next couple seconds, this Rolling Thunder kind of clears or at least covers the Heaven angle, and I'm still a little confused as to where this push went wrong.
Yeah, I slowed it down to half. So nade in, Rolling Thunder's ready to
Covers
go.
back. Rolling
Through
Thunder
Heaven.
covers Heaven.
Oh, it was the paranoia. It was the paranoia and the nade.
Damn.
Yeah, that feels bad. That
I
feels
like
like
the
us playing the
process.
game.
A little bit.
Not saying that Apex is playing poorly here, but just the unluckiness of. I mean, Tino, we're ready to go.
Yeah, I think Apex had a great setup there. I love the thoughtfulness of exactly where each piece of utility was covering. It's not something I saw out of TNL when it came to their attack.
Yeah.
Obviously, it didn't necessarily go Apex, people's way, but the intent was there. I like that. It again wasn't successful, but kudos to them. I
There's a difference
quite
between
enjoyed it.
looking good losing versus you could have lost worse, you know?
Yeah. 100%. See.
All right.
Be feeling.
I'm just pausing briefly to see this. Okay, we got Bucky on the Jet. Yeah, they are kind of
Bit of a
forcing here, yeah.
1 of 6, so it's not like they're close to getting ult, but if Jung Hee wants to, I would guess that he'll end up playing entry, or just try to take a weird solo push up mid, maybe catch the Sage before she walls, something to that degree. I'd probably put my money on maybe just peeking mid, smoking it off, rotating towards B, and then playing entry with that specific buy. But we'll see.
Yeah, if they Thum on into mid, then it would make sense.
Could.
All right, we have the makings of a paranoia Jet jump peak here on B.
Yep.
I mean, this is make or break for Apex right here. They're going to be broke.
Big broke. I want to see TNL continue to play the gate better. They have to invest those resources early. Apex people will rush you if you give them the opportunity. I want to see this breach start to get into position to be able to fault line this A push. I want to see this Jet maybe not peak aggressively, but
from Apex people here.
No, from TNL. Having that CT presence on the line, Apex people for
this year
at least 3 or 4 times now, they've played very aggressively, blitzed onto site, have utilized these rush strategies. I want to see TNL invest more resources, or at least continue. We saw it last round with the breach. It was great. Loved it. Didn't hit anything, but that's not the point. Threatening that, fishing for these possibilities that you can fault line 4 or 5 people and really stymieing and cutting the knees out of a push. I think that's really important. The fact that Apex people have shown that strategy at least 3 or 4 times now, I think TNL has to respond, and I want to see them continue to respond on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Upstart Esports, by the way, rating with a party 23. What up, everybody?
Well, hello.
Welcome to Pause and Predict. I'm Mushi. That's Volamel over there. We're doing a quick exercise. We're community of esports broadcasters trying to make sure we have a nice growth-minded community. Everyone can learn and start here and move forward is the whole goal. Where you're watching us we were watching a VOD of Korean VALORANT from the Challenger series. These are 2 teams who are Masters series bound, and so we're watching some of the games that they had in the qualifiers leading up to it. And the name of the game is to predict what's going to happen next. And so I think since we have the nice raid here, let's go ahead and make a quick prediction. I kind of want to make the call around here. Does TS get a kill before dying? / some variation of is this jump peak / this early peek in the garage going to work? Do you have any ideas of how to refine that?
I mean, it doesn't have to necessarily be super specific on who gets that opening peak, but I think a good one would be who wins garage control here, either Apex people or TNL. I think that'd be a good one. Definitely both sides are leaning that direction. And to their credit, I think, doubling back to what I was saying with, playing the gate and being, very mindful that Apex people can have that rush. I think the positioning of TS here with this op kind of, harkens back to that, where they're taking that initial opening skirmish. They're not only peeking for that aggressive, op pick, but they're getting that scouting information. God forbid he missed. So it could land. It depends on exactly how Apex people want to roll out. If they blind off the gate, if they fault line a potential up push or some sort of aggressive push. But it definitely looks like there's going to be a bit of a tussle in B Garage here.
All right. Who wins B Garage? We're going to give it the 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Get your predictions in.
2 minutes. Get your predictions in. Dun, 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 dun. See, I have my account that I don't have modded, so I can be one of the people. What did I predict?
Where your allegiances lie? I'm still kind of processing myself.
I'm gonna say Apex.
Yeah, I expect Apex to suffer the first death. I think that they'll probably get op picked, but off that pick, I think TS immediately dashes out and seeds that control. It'll be interesting to see how much he sees or how much information he's able to scout with that pick, and maybe what resources he's able to kind of bait out of them, because they know that there's an op there. So I wouldn't expect them to invest too much more, but you never know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would expect TNL to get the opening pick, but I don't think they're necessarily going to press for garage control. My vote would definitely be with Apex.
All right. We want to see. Hopefully, it'll be more obvious in what it means to win. I guess obviously like getting the kills, but then because I could totally see where they get where TNL gets the kills, but then they back out. Obviously, it's just about like getting that first pick off. But
definitely look like they're going to get the opening kill, but I think Apex people are going to push into garage.
Yeah.
Maybe smoke it off, make a play from there. They can then use that as a staging point, towards B. But to control it, it is a little nebulous. It's not necessarily all that clear.
For sure. All right. Let's see here. Are we... Prediction is done in 15 seconds. Yeah, maybe the minute... I wouldn't do a minute and a half. Minute and a half would be sweet.
Feels like a sweet spot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all right. I'm chilling. Alrighty. We are almost there. And we're done. Okay. Let's do it. Let's see what happens. Oops, that's the music. Jump, peek, jump, peek.
Nothing.
All right, they got the kill.
There we go.
But we didn't see it
Didn't
on
even
camera.
push. No.
So
No push
that's
in. Just a
TNL.
quick look. Bizarre.
All right. So whatever
big flash.
whatever I predict.
Again, playing the entry. Good.
Yeah.
I love TS here. It's aggressive and it's a little ballsy, but I always appreciate people playing circles, knowing how many people are on the map and pushing through mid into heaven and wrapping around the map. I think that was great. Again, aggressive with the op.
Mm-hmm.
Can't deny that.
Yeah, for sure.
The intention there was good. Not necessarily with that gun though.
I mean, Apex was pretty creative what they did, even though they got picked on the initial, right?
Yeah.
And then they end up winning. So, all right. So whatever I predict is the wrong thing. So defense won there. TNL won.
Yes.
All right. Enjoy
I
my
think you
channel
can
points.
give it to TNL very, very comfortably. Nobody really had garage control, but the fact that, Junghai gets in there and gets that pick, I think it's fair to give it to him.
Yeah, I need to see how his Korean name is spelled out, and I can tell you if it's Hi or he.
Yeah. Anybody in chat knows, please. I don't want to.
Yeah, I'll find the Korean spelling
get
later.
the name wrong. Appreciate the breach fault line there. It's good. Giving up space because they hear so many. Smokes everywhere.
Great.
Lockdown.
So Jonghee chased him through the smoke, by the way, there. I mean, dude, I hate to always feel like I'm just watching the jet players. The jet players are the ones that I'm pressing, but it makes sense, right? You would give
They're very dynamic.
Give the player who can use the utility.
Yeah.
The utility, so they can make plays like that.
Yep. Give them the support. They're very much able to use it best you can.
Ooh, that was great. Actually, really clever. I mean, honestly,
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful retake.
He did not get that no scope just now. Dude, what a retake. That's almost worth... I kind of want to watch that again because that felt pretty... I was going to say, like, Apex looks really good right now, right? Like that they're about to take it. So trading fault lines...
Again, having that presence right off the gate to kind of stop this push. That's exactly what you're looking for.
Yep. Yeah, they're content to sit in the smokes.
Yep. Not
Let
super
them play
bothered
it.
by it.
Yep.
It's covered with lockdown. I'm not trying to push into it.
Yep.
Let them have it.
So by the way, Jet got locked down.
Mm.
So that res was actually pretty big. That res happens in screens.
Yeah. I'd wager that these people in dark are probably still stunned. The Rolling Thunder.
Yeah.
This is kind of where I go and I look at Omen. Not necessarily. No. I think he made the right call. I think in his mind he was playing that rotation well. I would expect that he thought that people were coming through, or all of the pressure had come through window at that point, so that he was going to flank them, and it just didn't work out. But unlucky.
I like at least that TNL were content to like
patient.
Very
fine with dealing with the lockdown, taking that crossroad, just not necessarily just blitzing in half-heartedly. I love what TNL is doing here through mid.
Yep.
I think that's great. If you know that 3 people have pushed through. Okay. Well, I certainly stopped liking what they were doing very quickly.
They just assumed they were going to be on site, and that was straight up what happened.
Yeah.
Apex weren't ready for them to be there in sewers, but at the same time too, TNL did not expect them to be retreating.
I don't think either of them expected them to do what they just did.
Yep.
To make such to invest your jet so deep into the site with her ult, and then not follow up on it and have this gigantic rotation.
They gave
from
them sight.
Literally coast to coast. Yeah. That was, I don't expect that
2 for
to
1?
work.
That's a 2 for 1 right there.
Well, this is certainly a game.
Did Apex throw? They try to get fancy, dude. I don't know. They try to get they made the decision and it didn't work out. Is obviously what we can accurately say. But all of a sudden we are tied.
Yeah. That's a really bizarre call. I would have much rather that B pressure from that Killjoy for Apex to be better positioned towards mid, trying to lock down that kind of rotation, coming through mid, something that TS obviously did. But because you're showing so much so quickly off the spawn, that is a threat you kind of have to deal with, and having a pressure or having that kind of position in garage doesn't really do anything for you, especially if you're going to be planting or running the bomb A side. Yeah, that I'm kind of at a loss for exactly what that was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Or if that was just a mid-round call gone wrong. It's that did not seem very intentional. It looked like a well enough push through A, very kind of standard, your typical kind of flash and dash, but then you had this B presence that, other than bizarre, it's difficult to kind of describe.
Yeah.
TNL.
It's not the first time we've seen Apex try to do that.
Yeah, that's true.
But at the same time, it's like we saw it doesn't feel like once again to the other site, they have a good way of locking it down. And I'm not referring to the ultimate. It's just about, controlling that space afterwards.
Right.
Now granted, the only other one I remember, I feel like we saw it 2 other times, but the one I do remember is when they were down like 3-5. Yeah. So, but that I felt like it was at least equal. Anyways, Killjoy utility mid. They're just deciding to play on site here.
Yeah,
seeing which way they're gonna go.
They seem to be very well prepared, Apex people that is, to deal with TNL being so obsessed with, not necessarily obsessed with getting mid control, but really trying to cut off that rotation towards A.
Right.
They seem to have scouted that through some of their matches and are abusing that, or maybe even through, some sort of scrims.
I mean, if you look at where they're positioning too, they're playing in areas where they can rotate very easily. So it makes sense why they'd be playing these off angles like this.
And to your point, this is kind of, you know, going back to like definitely not where you'd not to say that it's not where you'd expect, but not something that you'd expect off of the first kind of like contact that you'd be pushing into the site. You don't expect people to be playing that far back.
Yeah.
But with the utility that Killjoy has shown, it definitely works that way. It's almost reminiscent of how people normally set up their wing players for B-side on Haven, right? Where they play the connectors, they don't necessarily play on the site.
Yeah.
Because they have the ability to quickly rotate. They still can have that, you know, albeit a little bit more passive, they still have presence on that B-side.
Right.
Very interesting. I appreciate Apex people's CT side a lot. I think it's very well prepared. We'll you know, we'll talk about their T side.
Yeah. So op buy here in the overtime round, by the way.
Yeah.
So
TS, let's see if he shoves it in.
Yeah. We've seen it before.
Yeah,
and it did not go well.
No. Weird skirmish in sewers. A little slow.
Look at this double. It's going to be fight at ramps here. Here we go. Execute time. Love these flashes. I think Apex people's execution on a point, and not flashes, but their smokes are very well coordinated between the Omen timing and then the Jet timing too. Like when the smokes come out, is very little that they can do.
Yeah. I think this might be it. Good control of the site.
Yeah.
Killjoy being able to play off-site while also still having presence in screens.
Best case is optic to pick there. Yep. Oh, interesting.
Okay.
2v1. Heroics could be. Come on, I want to see the last defender. Wrong person. Yeah, that's it.
Good,
I mean, that's where it should have gone. Mainline with the prime sub. Thanks so much, man. Good.
I wanted to see more of those. Again, it was direct. It wasn't necessarily stupidly aggressive. It wasn't like an immediate like rush B style of, you know, play from. Was that Apex? Yeah, Apex was CT before, so they'd be T side now. That kind of very measured and again, not too creative, not too out of the ordinary. Just a very kind of typical flash and dash execute onto A site. It works. There's so many different places that the CT side needs to be and control on split that those kind of shoves, those 5-man shoves through, you know, whether it be long or I think back to like Renegades and Anbox and NA, having a big presence in that B side, entering with Thrays quite successfully and making those direct plays work really, really well. Forces the CT side to really have a great retake game, which not a lot of teams feel all that prepared for. You kind of immediately, as you know, the attacking side feels like you take control of the tempo of the game right out of the gates. Forces a lot of resources invested from CT, which obviously Apex did extremely well, kind of starting down that mid-site push, or not mid-site, but you get it.
That feels pretty unique to Apex. I don't recall many teams giving them that much space and looking so comfortable.
Definitely unique. All of all of Killjoy's buildings, all of her resources were definitely invested into controlling that mid half of the map. So very, very unique, very interesting.
Yeah.
Again, I think that it feels tailored just because of how much or how often TNL was shoving up and through down into ropes, but that could just be a subsequent kind of knock-on effect from them giving up so much space in mid. They feel like they can do that, and the mollies are there to shut them down when they do, or if they do.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I think for the next VOD we do, it'd be interesting to see another I wonder if we watch a map of another region, right? You know, like find a map that we know is going to be like a good matchup of a region, like Latin America or something like that. Or even EU. Like I haven't really watched any EU, to be honest.
Oh, same. Yeah, it's been a hot minute since I've caught up with you.
Yeah, for sure. All right, cool. So we are in Ascenti.
Yes, Skent.
Yeah, mainline did the set that they have in this. I mean, it's so cool to see. I actually kind of forgot that, or I think not appreciating as much that they are doing in-person broadcasts, which is pretty dope. Except for the players, of course. Looking at the matchups here, double duelist on the side of TNL. Interestingly enough, only one duelist for Apex. Instead, traded the Sova.
It
Or the
feels
Killjoy,
like
rather.
this.
Wait, what's different?
The
Killjoy.
Omen,
Yeah,
Killjoy,
Killjoy for
Raze.
Raze. Yep.
It feels like the composition that Apex is running here seems kind of the go-to, at least I would say,
Yep.
for most maps. Definitely something that Vision Strikers has kind of set the bar for. I do think that the double duelist composition can be successful, but you kind of again, you have to play it differently, which I didn't really see from that half of the map on Split. I wanted to see more solo plays. I wanted to see these duelists really kind of activate and kind of demand space in the map. Didn't see that. So hopefully TNL can bring that to the table. I'd like to see TS play aggressively like he did on CT, but just with a different gun that you can be a little bit more, dually with.
Yeah.
Take that Vandal out there and really kind of, dominate that space.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't
I'd
really
like to see that.
I mean, I haven't really looked to check out the names as much on the side of TNL. So, we'll see if they make themselves memorable. All right, let's go.
True. Definitely, I hate that the Jet name seems to stick out, but it seems like the camera just loves them. But Jung Hai and TS seem to be the only two that really kind of stick out.
So did TS's head or body.
It's very true. Very true. Another map that, at least historically, can favor some very direct hits, but these days is very, very dictated based on mid control.
Yep.
So I expect Apex people to kind of, have some change ups in store for TNL's defense here.
That's a great
definitely
lurk on a catwalk. But they got to get there fast. Well, it's 2v4. Dude, they are so stretched out right now. I mean, versus where you see, like they're all the way on opposite sides of the map. He still has to work through this lurk from sound. Is he going to just try to deny? I guess, yeah, just kill him on the way out. Damn.
It happens.
Yeah. I mean, it was direct execute. They got that initial pick 2 in mid, so already if you're TNL, you're like, all right, guys, we got this. Get back into the game. All right, just play our game. And okay, I'm dead. I'm dead in mid.
See, this would be a route that I'd expect Apex to kind of quickly take an aggressive push wherever they decide to do it. I think you could maybe even afford to push up mid, but could cost a little too much resources than they'd be willing to necessarily spend, but they have the guns for it.
Yep.
Quick little play here.
Wow. I mean, just the posturing alone is already just the speed and velocity.
I'm glad, again, just kind of fundamental retake here. I'm glad that TNL isn't peaking until everybody's ready. Not necessarily that everybody's ready, but at least everybody's on the half of the map that they're trying to retake, right? Like they're not pressing in early. They're waiting for the B site to get there. They can all kind of attack at once. They obviously lose, but loss of a pistol round, you're definitely fighting an uphill battle. Can't really blame them.
Yeah, I mean, this is the expectation here. If you can get any kills at this stage, it's honestly really good for them.
That's not horrible. Yeah.
All right. Hold on a second. By the way, the Omen on Apex is super low because he got dinked. He actually, only reason why he survives is because he was beyond that damage fall off distance, but it was a headshot. It was 145 damage. All right, it's gonna get interesting here.
First full buy.
And Apex, they can't full buy. They took a lot of losses.
Yeah, they did. I expect Park Jung to buy something.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
not a full buy, but full enough. Definitely can had. I wouldn't say they're at too much of a disadvantage. Spectre's still pretty good.
Yeah, mid control looks to be the big move here for the side of Apex people.
See what they do with it.
Actually, I really enjoy watching how teams play with Sova. The usage of the owl drone, and earning space. I am excited to see TNL use it on their offense because I think they might be able to actually show some sign of life on their entry, right? They're all about finding the information and dealing with it and working with it before they do anything. Yeah, it will just be interesting to see if Apex plays similarly, like pretty far back into the site, as they did in Split.
Sova and Breach for TNL wiggle their way.
No kills, by the way.
Out of first contact. Yeah. They've
no kills and they're on site.
They're fine. They're like, we'll just play retake. That's totally fine with us.
Wild.
I think that's a great call. A little risky.
It is.
But they definitely got it done.
It felt way more like let's play safe. Let's play. Yeah, just play safe because we have the better guns this round. I think they knew they did the math and said they can't full buy.
I want to see Sova press in here. If hopefully there can be calls made. Oh, smoke kind of shuts him off. That's fine. I wanted to see him kind of press in if they had a read on exactly how many people were sitting in pizza there, but
yeah,
that smoke kind of fought against that.
Yeah. Two defenders backside. Name it better. I mean, they're trading. That was close. That was a lot closer.
Credit to TNL there, especially that Breach and that Sova being able to kind of sneak their way off site and really avoid the tragedy that is being kind of just overwhelmed and these 5-man shoves.
Yeah.
Being able to kind of sneak back into CT spawn and wait for the retake to happen. I think easily was the play that won them that round. Yeah. Without shooting a bullet, just the utility to be able to get them out was success enough.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that. A full 5v5 after
just
a post
forfeit.
plant.
Fine, take it.
Yeah,
go.
Give up the site. That's wild.
Like they're posturing that way. They've smoked catwalk. They've smoked mid. You can kind of assume that they have mid control.
Yeah.
Just from that fog of war is created. From that, they have nobody. You have a presence in window. There's nobody there. You can only kind of have to assume that they're posturing B side. They start to smoke in even farther. They're kind of encroaching on B site now. Now you kind of get your Sova and your Breach out.
Mm-hmm.
Good call. A passive call. Very clear. There was a vision there. There was intent, and look what happens from it. Liking what I'm seeing now. This is a team. This is the TNL Esports that I was expecting to see. Jet not playing entry.
That's a good smoke. Yeah.
Yeah, they got smushed.
Yeah. Now this was an eco.
This was a save.
Yeah.
Not super bothered by it, but a little weird.
Yep. Yeah, I don't think too much to read from that, other than just I think TNL's finding their groove now, and them starting on defense feels really good for them.
Oh yeah, 100%. Big agree. It was a little staggered. I was a little surprised at who exactly was playing entry there for the eco. I kind of, again, if you're gonna lean that side, make a direct play. Hopefully your Jet can play entry there. Normally Junghee does, so a little bizarre that he didn't there, and it seemed just to kind of shut him down really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think those recons got much of anything. I'd imagine that mid one got cloud bursted. Kind of looked like it did. All right, again, nobody's really respecting the line plays here. Right off of spawn. I'd like to see a little bit more resource invested just for these specific plays.
Oh. He went too early. He went too early off of his fault line.
I'd like to see Sova get out now, unless he's got lineups to be able to deal with this.
He was confident about that. Nope.
He thought, but that is one detain.
Yep. Bye-bye. Dude, what are they? I actually, it's actually crazy how much they're switching the POVs. They're very hyperactive on the
action focused.
But like it was about to, yeah. Anyways.
True. Yeah.
Yeah. Backseating. Dude, honestly, this is why I like Raze. You're not quite expecting it. Oh, look at that.
Don't expect that either.
They had a 1v1. They had a little 1v1
sick.
Cam. All right.
They don't get a ton of use out of it. I wish they'd use it a little bit more, but there again. Most planes like that aren't necessarily one-on-ones.
It's a little confusing too. But at the very least, you can see both POVs like in your periphery.
Yeah.
All right, so pretty much full buy. Only thing is light armor on Park Jong on the attack, and we got X.
We do have an Omen in our Raze alt for TNL. There is a kind of tendency. It doesn't. I'd have to really sit down and track and like napkin math out exactly how it feels, but it does feel like people are a little bit more agreeable to using alts on save rounds to kind of make up the difference instead of using it to further win a round that is, you know, already in position to be successful.
Yeah, it would be a good read.
Buys.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if, like you said, does TNL use their ultis to try to balance it out? Seems like the answer is no.
Get a gun.
And I would not expect them to, based on their previous play. Because if you look at what they have too, it's a Rolling Thunder. The only one really that provides that threat is the Raze ulti.
Would be raised. Yep.
Yeah. And I do not expect TNL to run a rollout out of defense.
No, they don't. Neither team seems to be playing very aggressively off-site CT.
Yeah.
They're very, very much so playing for the site itself.
That's a big kill. They got a gun all of a sudden.
Yeah, again, you can't you cannot disrespect the sheriff in this region.
Yep.
You will get caught by it and you will give up a gun, which busts that round wide open. It's not so much so an eco round anymore.
Yep, especially when they have these ultis. I like this commit here. They at least push him on the site.
I don't know how much that splash though, if any.
Dude, that one gun, man.
Yep.
That one gun.
Definitely impactful.
We missed it all. Uh-oh, Spaghetti-O. Don't tell me he has it. Oh my gosh.
This is one thing that Mushu and I have talked quite at length about. Korean Sovas are just different.
Yeah, you saw the thought, but the Sova knew about the Sova.
It's true.
That was...
He knew that they knew that.
Yep.
That damage would not be enough to kill him.
Yeah, so this is, at least we have replays.
It's good. Another thing that I've seen quite a lot is that boathouse wall doesn't exist.
Basically. Yeah, it's paper
people
thin.
It will just get tore up with bullets.
Yep.
Getting your Sova, having a post plant with Sova alive with Aldrone and Recon Dart available.
Ooh, yeah. Ooh.
That boathouse wall does not exist.
Yeah, you have to be backside on that. So A lobby, by the way, feeling a lot like, or this A corridor feeling a lot like Garage from Split.
Mm-hmm. TNL doesn't necessarily have to use resources if they just throw their bodies at the line, which act in the same way.
I love that. Get the smoke to help him get out.
Yep.
Playing it safe. I mean, this TNL this is TNL in their comfort zone.
Very much so.
So 3v2.
3v2, but they
With-
don't have a bomb.
Yeah, and that Jet barely has health.
Yeah. Do you have
Omen being on
presence
site here
on A
early.
site?
Exactly. Like him being on
does
site early
help.
there is actually a really big deal. Because they're going to hear him running up right now, and they're not going to be ready for this push. Yeah. Like,
It doesn't feel like it was properly communicated to Sova that there was a cloud burst on site along with Omen smokes. I feel like that rotation could have been sooner and he would have already been here on this site.
Mm-hmm.
It feels a little breakdown. Again, he's late to the site.
Yeah.
I think I'm comfortable or confident in saying that this communication was flubbed.
Don't tell me they're going to win this
He
round.
still might win it out.
Oh my gosh.
Again, just because you win the round doesn't mean the play was correct. I think if he gets there sooner, they keep another gun on their hands. The round probably is a little bit more clean in terms of the retake. I think right when you see that cloudburst come out, I think it's a safe assumption that both remaining players from Apex people are leaning towards this side of the map.
I don't get the Omen ulti there. I guess scare him off.
I don't
Maybe
know
see
if
where
it's
he
necessarily.
is.
I think it's scouting. I think that's the. It's
But
it's
he
a-
has to.
it's
But
an
he
all-
has to go for defuse. It feels. Collat, by the way. It was a collat kill. Anyways, this
Holy
is just freaking bloodbath, dude.
bloodbath.
Holy.
Again, if you don't have to, okay.
That was an
That's a play?
expensive bloodbath.
That was a play.
Yeah, that was.
No plant, no nothing. I mean, I guess you wouldn't expect the bomb to be pushed that deep.
How
That's-
quiet were comms were after they lose that, after like
boy.
having a little bit of hope.
Hopefully not, but realistically, probably pretty quiet.
That just felt like a
Little force here. From
little
Apex?
run it down. Get in there.
Little mid run.
The run was over before.
I think they have a. I think Apex people's forcing here. I have a.
Wow.
Oh.
Unluck.
I mean, they have fought for mid here, so again,
Yep.
they've created a fog of war, which is great. There's a presence there. They have to clear it. They immediately clear it. There's nothing there. Great. Fabulous. Not so much. Not so cloudy there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be a big round for Apex people. Lock down at B.
Interesting.
Okay. Don't tell me you're going to go A.
Tell me you're going A.
Thank you. I'd like to see maybe Killjoy or Omen press in through Pizza here, play a little offsite, try to control the
Talking
mid
about
rotation.
Attacking,
Yep.
you know, for
Yep.
setting up for the post plant, right? Yeah. Oh, here
Yep.
would be great.
Deep in there. Even just the connector into the door. Like, yeah, right here would be fantastic. Hold this.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Hey, you could tell the future, dude. Look at all this pause and predict. Oh.
That's one thing. I'm definitely okay. Well, time to talk about ultimate economy.
Yeah,
That's a perfect example of investing way too much in a round that's already lost and investing too much in a round that feels very confident that you're about to win. I don't think that Rolling Thunder needed to come out from the side of Apex people, nor do I think TS needs to be popping blades, 1v5.
He really wanted to keep that op. I'll just say that. He really wanted to keep his op.
That is a decision. He actively made that decision. Not great. TNL saving here?
I thought they were, but then I saw a bunch of. Let's see. TNL.
Okay. Again, passive sight. Give it up. Play for retake. That's fine. Very,
All
again,
right, there you go.
appreciated,
There's
measured.
a kill.
Is that a Hunter's Fury?
That was
kill?
Hunter's Fury kill.
Okay.
I want to see some guns from them.
The
What does he
only
have?
downside of playing this quick is that you really don't get any pressure off site. There's no way to rotate. You're just playing on the site.
It's a save.
TNL is kind of abusing.
From TNL.
Okay.
And it's a 2v2, by the way. About to be a 1v2
Oh, and they
for the
win
saving
it.
team.
Big shock dart.
Shock dart.
Bounce. They
1v1.
would have connected.
This is
Oh.
no way, dude. TNL are winning
what?
rounds that they really shouldn't be.
they have no
Oh.
reason winning. Or
Okay, Apex won that because of the bomb.
yeah.
But point stance.
They're having presence in these rounds that they really don't deserve to have presence in. Feel more comfortable on Ascent. Definitely a map I would assume that they probably have a much higher win rate on. Their split was fine. I think T side have definitely have some gripes, but again, much more reminiscent of a team that's supposed to be, held in high regard in this region.
TS op, by the way.
Okay.
Oh wait, hold on. Actually, no, maybe it was just this. Maybe maybe it was Zhongyi then. I saw an op on a jet. I thought it was defensive. They might have him too, actually. I don't know. We'll find out. I really want that UI, dude. Just show me what guns people have.
So I'll say it's Jungie.
This is our first like. Ugh. Do you own a Nintendo Switch?
No.
Well,
I don't.
What I hope we can get is these VODs onto YouTube. I actually looked before this. I was trying to find the VODs.
Did you?
Yeah, I couldn't find it.
It might honestly be worth like downloading through like just so that we
I
can
might
back
download
up and
it
not have to worry about it.
Yeah.
It is kind of a fun little like random pause break into like a little banter about the Nintendo Switch. Like, man, why isn't Valorant on the Switch?
I don't want to ever play a tac shooter on the Switch unless it's somehow top down or some kind of made for controller.
Like an RTS isometric style.
Yeah, but Chad thinks the graphics are already ready for Switch though.
Okay.
So
now we're talking.
Yeah.
Another B site lockdown. How do you respond, TNL?
I'm gonna let him. Oh, he gets up.
So there's no presence A. They know for a fact there is zero presence. They've invested lockdown. They have to assume they're playing for retake B.
Rocket misses.
I can respect it. I would much rather prefer that to be used for the retake, not to deny the plant, but
Don't have time for plant. Oh, they did.
No.
Just barely.
Bit of a rush.
Yeah. Holy moly. I would love to have a better. This always feels bad is when you're on the flank and then your team just dies way too fast.
Yep.
This is not what I'm used to seeing.
Yeah. It's fair.
Especially from Korea.
It is a little messy. It definitely makes me so to kind of note, I believe both TNL and Apex people will be joined by Vision Strikers and New Turn Esports in Group A and Masters.
Wow. Okay.
So this is definitely going to be a matchup that will spell out how some of Group A will go.
Here's an execute by Apex.
They have A site control, but the bomb is B.
Yep.
Which I don't
missed that.
really care for. I would much rather the bomb just be thrown down, but there is like there's really not a good place for it, I suppose. I suppose if you throw it like A mid where Killjoy is like right now, like she'd be picking it up here anyways if they're trying to like have a presence on B.
Mm-hmm.
Again, kind of cooped up on B site. Not a ton of space to work with. No rotations to threaten. It's again a direct push with a direct defense. Nothing too special. And you get swarmed. This is the
Ooh, damn. So TNL have a really good, dude. Their retake is actually. I wonder if they just. I wonder if the scrims are just retakes, dude. It honestly feels like
very
it.
good. Yeah.
Just
very,
like
very, very good.
All right, run the site. You can have whatever you want. Let's just run 5v5s retake.
They have a good read. They're granted. I think I definitely criticized what looked like a communication breakdown with that Sova rotate from B. Which probably would have saved that round or made that round a lot closer than it needed to be.
Yeah, the one way back when.
That said, I think they have a great read on when exactly they need to give up the space and, just commit to playing for the retake. And they're not, it is just like a clear and decided decision where once the call is made to play for retake, there's no peeking aggressively. I think the only thing that you could really draw, as evidence against that is maybe that raise rocket towards the end of towards the start of the push in from Apex people there. But outside of that, TNL, great job playing kind of passive defense, playing for those retakes, having the reads on when to get out, how to get out, executing on that properly, and kind of a little bit of a dull attack from Apex. Very, again, a straightforward attack with a straightforward post plant hold, nothing to really threaten any kind of rotations, no offsite plays.
Mm-hmm.
I think that might also be a knock-on effect from TNL's kind of forfeiture of space as quickly as they do.
Yeah, exactly.
Once they give up that space, it's kind of hard to fight into them because they have a ton of fog of war on the map, so they kind of almost circumvent. They threaten. They have the potential to be able to threaten all those rotations. So it's very interesting.
Very deep defense.
Yeah. Aggressive. Pushing out there, letting them know. So they.
Ooh, they're lining up. They're lining up. They're lining up.
Okay, Apex. Oh, excuse me. Nobody there. I guess you could be wine, but see him catwalk.
Yeah, this is.
TS is in a bit of a pickle.
It always feels bad. Like we could see them coming, but they have no idea that they're going to be there. So super late reaction. Wait, they don't let them plant.
They're kind of throwing themselves at him.
You got the bomb plant.
Okay.
All things considered.
Got a couple kills too.
Yeah. If that's anything of what Apex is going to be doing later on regarding like their early push out of, they're in deep.
Yep, that was a very aggressive push out mid.
I really like how these. I noticed. I can't remember which team exactly, but I know at the very least here, Apex, Jonghi was using Cloudburst to help out the Park Jung get out of mid, right? So at least supporting with vision, right? Like I think I've not noticed things like that before as much as when we're watching these kind of teams.
So like
right?
this kind of play.
Right, exactly. Yeah, they're like smoking off mid, giving him time. Am I out there? Am I not? I mean, this is similar kind of energy, right? You're just creating I wasn't sure if that was just gonna be for pistol. Oh gosh. Oh. Okay, got the trade. I was gonna say creating chaos in the early, like muddying up the comms. Just hey, let's create chaos. Let's get in there and mess them up.
And to be fair, like Jung-hee doesn't necessarily even have to take that dash out on the side of Apex. Like he doesn't necessarily have to, like he can just smoke the B cross into mid and just leave it.
Yeah.
Like that alone is a tell towards like, is there somebody mid? Like think of all the little nooks and crannies that you kind of have to check.
You have no idea where they're going to be. Yeah.
You have no clue. So just that smoke alone and giving that up, I think is really, again, a subtle cause of chaos.
It reminds me of a way of a Cypher, you know, using a cage every round, right?
Sure.
They throw a cage, they put it up. Did they cross over through the pass? You know, Haven especially, right? Haven A on attack push. Are they in A short? Are they in sewers?
Playing off contact here is a little. You have utility. You might as like use it. That play doesn't need to happen. Where you're taking an aim duel, like, they need to be flashed in.
Yeah,
like TNL like just raw dogging up cat, playing off contact, and they can't even get like a refrag on it. It's just bland. There's nothing there. There was no utility used. Like it was.
Oh, that was so tragic.
I liked the push up. I thought they had a good like denial on any kind of vision through mid. And then they just biffed it. Like once they got there, like
I mean,
it's deep enough that you can expect somebody there. Like
it is an eco, so I guess it was kind of like let's just run at it, right? That's the one thing. But still,
yeah. I'd expect a little bit more.
Yeah, there's some free utility they can use.
Yeah. Again, it's just CT. It feels like CT's just the preferred side.
Yeah.
I can't
think
of too many
next
other
one,
teams.
This next one is going to be.
This will be
the tell.
I think
yeah. I love Apex's aggressive defense.
Yes, I would like to see more of that. I don't think it can persist in Masters. I think teams like New Turn and Vision Strikers will shut that down, and it will hurt. But I think it's definitely a characteristic I like to see. It again, different styles are super interesting.
Yeah, just
I hope Jung-hee just smokes mid here. Oh,
flash and dash.
Interesting flash. That was cute.
Oh gosh.
Little spaghetti.
Look at the chaos though, right? I mean, this is I have not seen this from a team. Like we're good.
The only team I think I can really point to is probably WGS. They're very aggressive. They seem to it's I wouldn't say it's exactly like WGS, but that's the only other team that can really peg from South Korea to go offsite like that.
Yeah, because
especially on like an equal buy round.
Right. I mean, they just got completely shut down there.
Yeah.
I kind of want to look at that again because I want to really focus on the minimap here, at least for myself. Because we expect this flash and dash mid, right?
I wouldn't say expect. I mean,
sorry. I meant to say there just was.
Yeah.
And then so they're kind of working in these duos, and I think that's something that I've heard people talk about before. So you have the Sova Omen, and then you had the Breach Jet, where they'd be working those units, but it's like you just hear all this activity, and then you're like, oh shit, mid, right? And then all of a sudden they're pushing at you out of B main too.
Yep, it's just full court press on a defensive half. It's definitely very interesting. It stops any kind of pushes off the line just because you're just kind of scouting with your face, right? Like you're just face checking these gate presses where you're off the spawn, people are pushing in and making those plays. And if you make enough of them, you pull the attention everywhere. Like you said, like you can't look. Normally that doesn't. Okay.
Wow.
Not my favorite use of Hunter's Fury, but
because he saw
gets another tag. Yeah.
Now, had we seen maybe the Jet push up at the same time, that would have been what I would consider characteristic of what they've been doing, right? Just all this noise, all this commotion, and then just like, all right, they're fighting over there. Let's send it and go meet them.
Mm.
There was a
think it's
kill
gonna
here,
be
by the way. So it looks like the Jet did get a kill on onto yeah. TL's dead.
Did they see Killjoy? They spotted the turret?
I don't think so. I don't think they've been on A.
Mm.
So
Or why the
while TNL was working their way up through B, that's when TL dashed in. Oh wait, no, wait.
Okay.
No, my bad. I'm reading that wrong. That's Apex people. Just dead body.
Hmm.
See that
This would be
extra little
something to kind of-
moment? The extra little moment to make sure they're on target. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
What I guess my biggest question with that is what did TNL see that they wanted to immediately move back and commit towards B, if
Yeah.
anything?
I'm down to
Why
watch.
the big commitment? Obviously,
I want to see what happened mid too. But yeah, to your point as well, what do they see? Yeah.
I don't. Do you make the read that if they have enough money for an Oven or an Odin on the Sova to not kind of face check this because of these kind of plays?
And they just forgot.
If you know they have the money to be able to do it, like maybe you have to respect that a little bit more.
It's hard because how do you scout that, right? They're gonna scout you first.
I guess
think
it's
there's
not
a lot
necessarily.
yeah, good.
It's not so much that I think you need to scout it, or it's just knowing that possibility is open. Like if there's enough credits, like if you have the ability, not have the ability, but if you can do the mental math,
Yeah,
and rack up a full buy armor and an Odin for a Sova, especially on Ascent. I
Yeah.
wonder if teams need to kind of start respecting that
Yeah.
and playing a little bit more passive if they want to, have this presence on B, just because of that. Even just removing the recon dart and just kind of giving that up. Maybe
Yeah.
not even giving the information that you're actually killing the recon dart, just letting it time out. I think that might be
yeah.
a little safer than just winging it.
They got a collat there too. All right, so that makes sense. So they got a collat on the entry. They clear front sight with Earth Shatter.
Or yeah, I keep wanting to call it that.
Yeah.
And then the pause here.
Yep. Yeah, I totally agree though. It's like when we play your games and there's a Reyna who's popping off and they have ulti and they pick up an Odin. It's like, all right,
Gotta respect it.
We need to kill her.
Yeah.
We got the Odin back too.
Yep.
This might be a bit of a runaway here. This might be a 7-12.
It could be. It's definitely a possibility.
Yeah, and they're gonna be TNL will be pretty broke after this. They have 1,600 credits extra. Everyone else has under like 400.
That is tragic. Got a call out there.
Yeah.
Jung-hee had a fantastic performance on Split as well. Like definitely MVP of Apex people. Somebody that is going to have a very lucrative future in Korea, I would imagine, as more and more teams kind of get into the space.
I would love to see a bit more of just study a bit more of these the breaches. I think Godlike has been setting up the team quite well. Like just seeing on their executes how important it is to get those breach flashes in the right spot. So this is defensive. Oh, they killed it. Okay. The Killjoy ulti I was talking about.
Yeah.
All right, getting recon. You have an Odin. Oh my gosh, dude. Wix. That was a little too close for comfort. That was a little too close for comfort.
That's. I am getting crossed up so often with this observing.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. Not gonna lie. I need to just look at the minimap, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, even like with those A site like retakes, like there's so much going on like on top of each other.
Yep.
Like it's tough to discern exactly what's happening.
Yeah. Also at our 6K bit rate from Twitch.
It's not bad.
It's not bad.
Not the clearest thing ever,
Could
but
be better.
definitely
we have the
concede.
technology. I think Masters will be. Hopefully, Masters will be better.
Dealy. Oh. Little press out of A here. Again.
A little cheeky press out of A.
Duos here. Love the float with Sova. For Apex people here.
Mm-hmm.
Having that just a slight, ever so slight angle looking into, this mid to B cross here.
Yeah.
Having the ability to quickly rotate towards A if there's any kind of pressure there.
Yep.
Drone
They
gets...
shut down TS's entry because
nobody's there.
I'm
frankly.
really gonna try. I'm gonna ask around, especially if we continue doing these for clean feeds, because I want to hear audio.
Yeah, that would also help.
Because I
Get
want to
a lot
know,
of-
how are they supporting TL or TS as he's diving in, right? Like we just see him getting
If at all.
flooded. Yeah, if at all, exactly. And that's the question I have, right? It's like what?
It's almost like ZF Gaming, like with Rocket.
Uncharacteristic. But yeah. Go on, like rockets. Oh, just kind of like yeeting in and the rest of the team following. Yeah,
it's like a calculated yeet. And I'll talk a little bit more about that as this next round kind of progresses. But I kind of haven't seen that from either team, and I kind of expected it, especially from TNL.
Yeah.
Yeah, ZF. Obviously, I mean, you and I have watched Great Time for Nat. You and I have watched ZF Gaming quite a lot, and I think Rocket does a great job, even though that I think most teams in Korea have kind of sniffed it out by now. His disjointed kind of work style, it's what I expected TNL to do with this double duelist setup, where one person is just kind of solo pressing in and they're taking those aim duels and they're trying to really bust open the map just by themselves. They don't need the support. They're just lurking to try and get these kills to kind of weaken the map and really, again, kind of to what you were saying earlier, cause that chaos. Neither team has really done that. It felt like Omen was supposed to be there to at least, either peek with or maybe paranoia and angle so the Jet didn't have to cover it, but I kind of would expect if either team was going to be doing something like this, it would be TNL.
And I want to
see it a little bit.
Attack.
Okay.
But yeah, sorry, on your point, just kind of working off of
just working off the info that one of these duelists can create by themselves.
Yeah. And being able to be active about it, as opposed to it being like people are entering seconds afterwards.
Yeah.
Or it's
it
like
doesn't
that
feel
information
as
just changed.
Exactly.
I want to see that again because it's the last thing, but it's like, all right, here's TNL trying to execute on a B. Be funny if you were watching on like 1.25 speed. All right, we're slowed down by half now. There's paranoia through. Hunter's Fury. How's he like dodging this? Okay.
Going for back of sight clear now.
Backside
they
clear.
answer with Hunter's Fury.
They are so far
open.
off this site, dude. They have 3 people over here, and yet
power of Hunter's Fury.
Dude, they're still
Spatial
here.
awareness. Yeah, I'd like to get into the site. I'd like to create the space. I think Omen went to TP and got nothing.
He actually, yeah, you're right.
Flailed.
Yep, they used the Omen TP to Scott back site. They found out where he is. Great. You still got to kill him.
Yeah, I kind of wish I think that was a breach in Sova. I kind of wish they would support the teleport. Maybe you can even get it off. Like if you win that 2v2, you
Yeah.
get the Omen TP
Yeah.
off. Great, fantastic. You're taking
Yeah.
that space. It feels you can't just plant your feet, especially if your entry's getting in there and they're breaking open the site
Right.
for you and they're giving you that space to work with. You have to follow up and you have to be able to press in there. The support was there. They got the entries in, but from that, it seemed like they kind of froze once Apex people used their
So they got paranoid
response.
just there. Yeah.
Sure.
On that topic. So they just got paranoid. They should be having good vision back now. They're still here. Oh, they're waiting for the Hunter's Fury, maybe.
That's fair
But still,
enough, I suppose.
Hunter's Fury's
but
done.
Hunter's Fury's gone now.
Go. They ping here.
Sweep in. Yep, he's
Wait,
TPing
he's like,
in.
wait.
That's what it's called.
I'm gonna TP in. Wait, I'm gonna scout.
And they're waiting. The smoke's crossed. Like they can't peek into
They
you.
waste so much time.
And they're just funneling into this 1v1 with this Killjoy, and she's winning them. She doesn't have to win them if you peek together. Or at least support the person who's then kind of playing entry into that angle. It's a bit of a breakdown. But what are you gonna do? But yeah, you were right. Could have paused and predict with that one. Bit of a runaway, 7-13.
Yeah.
For Apex people. I loved the aggressive defense there. I think that really
That was a good look. I like that a lot too.
it was not only good, but it really kind of set the tempo in their favor. Not only did they get a ton of buy rounds, but not a ton of buy rounds. Like, let me rephrase. They set the pace of the game and threatened that throughout, right? They kind of condition TNL to say, well, they might just blitz us. They might just push off site. They've shown us this. It's like Buzz yesterday with the op. Like, once you show that and it's shown to be so successful so quickly,
Yeah.
you kind of have to respect that, and you have to check that either just through physically, scanning corners and clearing that, or you have to invest resources off the line to be able to try and deny these pushes from happening. It's it was a good look. It was definitely something I kind of hope to see from Apex people come in, on more maps coming into Masters, but for a team that's coming up through the open qualifiers to take somebody like TNL, who again placed second at First Strike Korea. This is not a team that is green by any stretch of the imagination. It's impressive to say the least. Again, Group A for Masters in Korea is very much a group of death. You've got Vision Strikers who, according to I think VALORANT.gg, is like 53-0 in best of sets. New Turn is very much a force to be reckoned with and qualified, I think, in Challengers too. And then you've got both of these teams, both Apex people and TNL Esports, situated in Group A. That is an absolute bloodbath of a group. The opposite side in Group B, you've got Team Muyaho, who we watched yesterday, APA Prince, Damwon Gaming, and F4Q. Shout out to anybody from the Overwatch community. It's a Bunnies team for those who remember that name back in the day. But yeah, these matches are coming up quick, and again, a quick primer for two teams that could make it out of Group A, but not two teams who'd I'd guess would be making it out.
There's that group. Dude, oof.
Not.
Oof.
It's
Oof.
that's stacked.
Oof.
It's definitely. You kind of. I think B has like a clear team that is going to be difficult to see get out, and I think that's F4Q. I think there's a clear leader in Group A and Vision Strikers. I'd be shocked to see them not get out.
Yeah.
I'm not confident in calling the head-to-head between APA Prince and Damwon. Damwon obviously having the time needed after their roster moves. Hopefully they can kind of swing it around. I would guess it would probably be Team Muyaho and APA Prince making it out of Group B. But Group A, it really could be a toss-up. My guess would be Vision Strikers and New Turn. But if, let's say, Apex people really continues to play and utilize this aggressive CT side, maybe they catch a New Turn Gaming looking. Maybe, maybe they can beat TNL and get into that decider and win it. Group A is not. I think the only foregone conclusion you can make with Group A is who gets out in second.
Yeah. Right.
Vision Strikers getting out, period. Like that, you can put your bottom dollar on them getting out in first. Who else is getting out alongside them? That's the question. That's what we're looking at.
I feel really bullish on Apex people just because of what they're able to show here. It's, of course, like in the lead up and the prep to it, it just feels like they have all of the things they're trying to do and the breadth of the play styles that they can do. It's cool to see, all the things they're trying to attempt. And I think it's about the refinement. And I mean, honestly, with their entries looked really good. It's I think it's just, it felt so interesting because both their play styles are actually pretty similar. Sorry, I should say this, that they were both willing to give up space to each other.
True. Yeah.
And agreed. I think that not every team will be willing to do that. So it's almost like it's like having two boxers that are playing like counterattack or like defensive, like two
counterpunching. Yeah,
exactly. So it's like, but no one's doing the first punch, right? Until finally one's got to plant down. It's like, all right, we got to go.
Yep. Now the round has started. I definitely track with that. I mean, to kind of definitely praise Apex, I think their executes were a lot better, especially on T side, looking at their split in the head-to-head versus TNL. TNL seemed to take a little bit to warm up. Ascent felt a lot more comfortable. I would definitely, praise TNL for their very passive, retake style on CT. Love that. That was great. But Apex people, definitely the more full team. A little bit more, I don't think strategic's the word, but open to flipping the switch and, taking aggressive and confident duels, even on the defensive half. Making the blitz attacks work, these 5-man shoves on split, making those in a very apparent and successful push. Being able to play a little bit more passive, abusing mid control. That's the team that I think that probably will win in the head-to-head. Again, we're kind of slated to see a rematch between Apex people and TNL, and I expect Apex people to win that best of 3. However, I do worry. What would you say is not the flaw, but what do you think Apex people needs to work on, or what do you think was lacking when it came to split? Again, it's hard for me to criticize anybody's attacking rounds. At least the more that I watch it, the more that I'm like, it just feels like everybody's so CT favored. Like, yeah, it doesn't feel, and I guess that's fair to say that I think they need to have a little bit more, not presence of mind, but like you can't have that gigantic swing and like 2-pronged push. You remember on split where Jet has this deep presence into A, and they make the entire rotation around like that. Those rounds can't happen. I really do think a team at the caliber of Vision Strikers and New Turn are really going to abuse them if they continue to do that. The aggressive offsite plays, they can catch people looking, but I don't think either New Turn or Vision Strikers are too fresh or too green in the face to not be able to make that mid-round call and really not prepare, but to take that into consideration once you show that. Once you kind of show that card in your hand to say, hey, look, I'm gonna win pistol, I'm gonna get SMGs, and I'm gonna press you off site and really take control of the map and play super aggressive. I think from then on out, they're gonna lock that down and really take that into consideration and really sniff out some of these flanks. Sniff out some of these aggressive plays. They're going to play really, really, really passive up front, get some vision, get some control, and then make an execute. Not something I, if anything, saw a lot more from Apex than I did TNL.
Absolutely.
I think weirdly enough, the way that Wikipedia has it set up right now is probably how I think the group's going to file out. I think it's going to be Vision Strikers, New Turn, Apex People, TNL.
Yeah.
If the matches fall the way I think they should, but there could be some head-to-heads that we aren't expecting.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
Getting back to the question you had around, I think if I'm thinking about the differences between watching TNL and Apex versus like Vision Strikers versus, I'm pretty sure it was New Turn. I want to see the list of things. Anyways, regardless, one thing that was very notable about that matchup was just how good mechanically everybody was. And I'm not saying that Apex and TNL aren't mechanically good. I think they just didn't show the same amount of just adeptness. And I think
for sure.
And I think the best way I could describe it is that it felt like Vision Strikers and the other team that was playing, like I'll just say New Turn, were seeing into the future a little bit. They were one or two steps. They were a couple steps ahead, right? They knew what they wanted to do. They went and executed it. Sometimes they clashed. They went head to head versus the other team, but it continued. The momentum continued, right, for either side.
For sure.
And I felt like here, TNL feels like they rely so much on information, and then they go, right? Get as much information you can, and then we go. Very late. Apex feels like they can have the execute, so they can pull the trigger, and they can do a lot of things right, support each other, have flashes, have smokes in the right spot, get them to site. It looks really good, but once they're there, the vision for understanding what each other should do, how they should work together on the site to secure it, I think that's the area where I'm very curious to see how well they respond, especially against these other teams that they're going to run into. But that being said, TNL is a very unique case where they're just going to give up site. So it's like, how do you plan for that? I mean, how many teams are playing in this style? I feel like their scrims probably weren't like that. I haven't seen a team quite like TNL in that way. Apex People too. They did that same style as well, where it's like they give up so much space, but TNL, just completely evacuating the site sometimes.
They at the mere mention, the budding of a push onto a site, they completely gave it up, gave up space, let them get onto site, and then they were the attackers. Once that kind of meta game side switch happens where you get into that retake and they become the post plant defenders and you become the attackers, that's where they seem to kind of thrive. Apex People, they did cede ground, but in a way that didn't just give them bomb plants. It was more of, we're going to give you this area of the map, but do with it what you will, but we are going to starkly defend the site and not completely give that up.
Right.
You go back to that split, you go back to, the Killjoy having those mollies set up to, defend against that A cross. But yeah, very little presence compared to TNL Sage pick walling that mid, being able to control
the
that.
Sage
off
felt so
very
uninspired too, versus what we've seen Sage do.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Credit to NA. I think they've got some interesting things going, again, causing that chaos, even opening up the possibility that you can, boost up, being able to do something like Sick has done on Sentinels, being able to boost up, peek in that corner, take a duel. Once that's shown once that card's played, you have to consider that going forward. Not something we're seeing thus far out of Korea.
Yeah. I'm even more excited for Masters. Looks like we got some matches coming up this weekend.
This week, I think Friday.
The 12th.
Oh.
Hell yeah.
It's Friday.
I cannot wait.
Bright and early. 5 a.m. If not earlier.
Oh, God. Alrighty. Good stuff. All right, man. Well, it's been another fun day.
Yes. It's good.
We kind of zoomed through that second. 2 maps is a lot. I think if we're doing the pausing and whatnot. But, I think it's still, we're still living the spirit of it, right? I think we're trying to make calls and trying to read things, and we go back on every now and again. But, yeah, I like it. Good stuff.
Well, very good.
Where should people find you?
Can
what are you
find
working
me on Twitter at Volamel. That's VOLAMEL. I believe tomorrow I'm kind of going over AP Prince's post plant plays, just kind of capturing all of their post plants and trying to synthesize down a pro team, looking at how they're playing once the bomb is planted, and trying to find through lines that maybe even you at home could use in your ranked play, something that anybody could use that directly from one of the best teams in South Korea. And yeah, that'll be on GG Recon sometime this week. And if you're into Overwatch, there's plenty of Overwatch content written by yours truly and many of the other beautiful writers out there, so go check that out if you're interested. But yeah, Valorant stuff all on GG Recon.
Excellent. Very good. So follow on Twitter, the tag that's under your name, under your face rather. Very cool. Alrighty, let's close it out. I'm probably gonna I'm thinking it would be kind of cool to take one major point that we made here and cut together a couple clips, maybe with a little bit of VO. That'd be fun to do. And just something you can bang out in an hour. So maybe we can talk about that, like what would be the one thing we really saw here. But anyways, we'll talk about that offline. But anyways, if y'all made it here, if y'all are still in the live stream, y'all still in the video right now, hats off to you. We've been going for over 2.5 hours, so thanks for being here. We are planning to do this regularly. I don't know if we're gonna make it a weekly thing or not. Asking Volamel live on air. We'll see how it goes.
Let's do it.
Let's just do it.
We'll do it live.
We'll do it live. We'll do it live right here on this channel. So if you liked it, let us know. Definitely feedback is always welcome, especially this whole layout thing, which looks really strange when we're not on a Valorant scene because I moved everything around. Other than that, thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.